Welcome in, beautiful people. We are going to do a 2026 Dynasty rookie mock draft. This will be the second one that we've done all year. Obviously, we are still learning about the class collectively. Rankings are certainly not solidified. We're making cases, testing our theories, testing our models, testing our film, and just in the beginning phases of really getting to know this 2026 rookie class. I appreciate y'all being here with me. We will have a chance to chat about a lot of these rookies together. And I thought for the first time this year on the live stream, maybe it's time that we add landing spots. So we are going to use the latest 4-round mock draft from Tankathon. That is in the YouTube chat if you want to follow along. But again, I appreciate y'all coming out and being here with me. Tomorrow, we're going to go live as well, and we're going to give you some updated Dynasty quarterback rankings. Full transparency, like, we used to make videos for Dynasty quarterback rankings. Just going to be 100% honest with you guys. They always tanked. They always bombed. So I still want you guys to know exactly where I stand with my quarterback rankings and tight end rankings and stuff like that. But I might bring some of those rankings more to our live stream. So I'm going to try that tomorrow. I'd love for you to come join me. Let's have a chat about the state of the Dynasty quarterback rankings. And I appreciate y'all big time for being here. Again, we're going to get to some Dynasty rookie mock drafts. You're going to have a chance to join me. We'll go through the landing spots. And then we've got some team playbooks that we ultimately need to get out as well. Now, let's have a little conversation here to start today's stream. All right. To any Indiana fans, I know the guys at Domain are big Indiana Hoosier fans. I want to give a big congratulations to them. Shout out to all of our Indiana guys out there. Obviously, they are national champs, and that ties in really well into today's giveaway. I am going to give away on this stream one of our team playbooks, a live team playbook. And if you want to enter that giveaway, all you have to do is simply type 102, 1.02, and like the stream. That's as easy as it gets. That will allow you to enter today's giveaway. Again, like the stream and type 102. You'll automatically be entered into today's giveaway where you'll have a chance to win one of our live team playbooks. We'll do that at the end of today's stream. Now, that's a great segue because I think we should have a conversation about the 102 in Dynasty Superflex rookie drafts. When I just started diving into the class and I finished wave 1 of my scouting, I had the 102, 103, and 104 in its own tier. And that was the wide receivers. That was, Tate, Tyson, Lemon, this group of 3. However, as I'm starting to explore the class more and more and watch more film and obviously do my process, I really feel like Fernando Mendoza, I'm higher on him than I was Cam Ward last year, for example, but I do believe he is worthy of being in this conversation. Now, there is a poll in the chat, and I would love for you guys to contribute to it. And the question is, hey, is Fernando Mendoza the 102? Is he the 102? Is it still the receivers? I want you guys to vote in that poll because I want to hear your opinions. By the way, a big shout out to Stephen Day. Appreciate the super chat, brother. He says, hit that like button, y'all. Thanks for showing the love, S Day. A supporter from day one, an OG, absolute OG supporter. Let's talk about it. Congratulations again to all the Indiana Hoosier fans. Now, this game, as we predicted was this 2 days ago when we went live and did the startup mock draft, was closer than I think a lot of people predicted it being. What was awesome to watch for Miami, let's just start there, was obviously Malachi Toney. I mean, he looks like a really special rookie. His numbers, I mean, for these Devy guys out there are just really gaudy. And then Mark Fletcher, I need to give a second look at as well because I didn't love his film at first, but he has really balled out in the playoffs, and I need to reassess. I don't think he's a good pass catcher. That's a big problem, but I'll need to reassess. I believe I gave him the Brian Robinson type of comp, but let's talk about Fernando Mendoza in this game. Enters national championship, was very much in game manager mode rather than, I'm going to go out there and put the team on my back and win the game for them, right? This was game manager Mendoza. They weren't really down at any point in the game, to be fair. I mean, at halftime, it was 10-0. So there wasn't a big portion of this game, and it's unfortunate, where you needed to see Mendoza slinging the ball and throwing the ball down the field and getting aggressive with it. And unfortunately, we didn't really need to see Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt too much either. It was honestly a little bit disappointing, just purely from like on the biggest stage, and you almost want to see them tested in that light. They weren't tested. It was a close game, and obviously they had to play well. But it was much more manager mode. I mean, guys, if you look at their running back room, you know it's manager mode when their RB2 has 17 carries. Their RB1 has 19. You know, they almost have 40 carries between their two running backs. So, unfortunately, we didn't get to see Mendoza go in full takeover mode. However, we did see him manage the game, and I think that's going to be a big plus for NFL GMs, because a lot of the questions that they had were already answered before this game anyway. Let's talk about Mendoza. Let's talk about his career. What I love about Fernando Mendoza is this is not a prospect that's coming out like your Zach Wilsons or, you know, your Trey Lances, where it's like, man, there's a lot of talent there. And this was going to be a question for Dante Moore, but how much experience does he really have, right? That was going to be the conversation around Dante Moore. Is the experience really enough? We have a player in Fernando Mendoza, who's played in 3 different conferences, funny enough, because California moved from the Pac-12 to the ACC, and then he goes to Indiana in the Big Ten. 3 different conferences, 36 career starts. That's a great number. Obviously, it's not, you know, Bo Nix. It's not Bo Nix coming out with just an insane amount of starts. It's not Tyler Shuck coming out with an insane amount of starts, but 36 starts is a really good number. You're not going to have any GMs, you know, asking the question, well, is the experience really there? Now, obviously, it's not the most impressive numbers. I mean, you look at his career here. You know, it's not the Drake Mays. It's not the Caleb Williams. It's not the Jaden Daniels coming out, where the numbers are just jaw-dropping exciting, right? But you see this constant improvement, right? You see this constant improvement in his game. His completion percentage in his you know, freshman year at 63% goes up to 68.7% at Cal, then to 72% here at Indiana. Now, Indiana did one hell of a job through the transfer portal. I mean, NIL transfer portal, they killed it. I'm saying that because there were a lot of weapons around Fernando Mendoza. He was set up well, but the yardage is going up each and every year. The average, you know, passing yards per attempt is going up each and every year. The touchdown to interception ratio is going up each and every year. You're seeing this progression in his career, which is what these NFL teams really greatly covet, right? You're really starting to see these teams greatly covet it. And if you were with us last week, I told you guys kind of where I stood with Mendoza. He is going to be my quarterback 1 in the class, obviously. Dante Moore's not even in the conversation anymore. Certainly Ty Simpson, and, you know, if Trinidad Chambliss comes out or whatever, these guys are not going to be competing with Mendoza. He is in his own class right now. In fact, if you go on any, you know, main mock draft database tool, he is really the only guy projected to go in round 1 as a lock, if you will. But Fernando Mendoza, I know the team fits right now. Don't say the Raiders, but he's a lock number 1 to the Raiders. So not only can you add the fact that there's experience, that he's done it on the biggest stage, that he's progressed each and every year. You can obviously talk about the film, which we've talked about before. I love his arm. He's got great strength. He's great in the pocket. He's not going to be this guy that's ever rushing for 1,000 yards, obviously. When I looked at my pro comp for him, I think the ceiling is like the best version you ever saw of like a Joe Flacco. Last week, we also talked about, I think there's some Trevor Lawrence there as well to his game. Clearly not the caliber, the pedigree of a Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence was like, you know, he was the Caleb Williams, right? He was the, oh my gosh, this is the best prospect since X. Mendoza's not in those conversations, but he is clearly a very good quarterback prospect. A little more mobile than a Kirk Cousins. I can't help but see Joe Flacco personally. Just that big body, 6'5", 225 pounds is what Mendoza is. That big stature in the pocket, able to see the line, great vision, great decision making. Doesn't isn't loose with the ball, if you will. So I really like Mendoza as a prospect. Now, we have to be honest. Like, it's not this. as much as I love Mendoza, this is not the strongest 102 quarterback prospect we've ever seen. What do I mean by that? Well, Mendoza, if he's going to ever have top 5 years, it's probably going to happen through the air. You know, we need the Joe Burrow where he's got a great receiver room and he puts up 40 touchdowns. You need the Kirk Cousins years where, you know, Jefferson and Addison and Hawkinson, you're going to need a supporting cast. This is not someone who's going to step in day one. It's like, well, the weapons aren't there, the offensive line isn't there, but the rushing upside is going to give you a safe floor. That's not what's going to happen with Mendoza. In fact, if you are going to commit to draft him at the 102, you're probably going to need to be a little bit patient. I'm not saying he's going to be a poor rookie, but the surrounding cast, when you spend your first round pick on a quarterback and you have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, it might take some time if you can't hit it all in free agency to really build around Fernando Mendoza. But I'm a huge fan of his game. I definitely think he's going to be a really good game manager. Plus, we talked about that. Brock Purdy was the guy who made me coin this term, a point guard plus profile, and we use that for Bo Nix in his class. I feel the same way about a Fernando Mendoza. The one last thing I'll say here before we jump into this mock draft is where Mendoza really catches my interest, and I said it last week in our first live stream rookie draft, is the usage on the goal line, the usage in the red zone with those legs. Because no, he's not going to have 10 design rushes in the NFL, you know, every game. He's not one of those guys. But on the goal line, inside the 5, inside the 10, he certainly has this big body appeal, not exactly like a Josh Allen, but, you know, a rip-off version of that. Maybe 30% of what Josh Allen can give you there. I think there'll be plenty of opportunities, plenty of years where he's scoring like what Dak Prescott was before he had that major injury, where he's got those 5 rushing touchdowns in a year that just kind of catapult that floor a little bit more than maybe people were expecting. But I'm a big fan of Fernando Mendoza. If you look at my updated rookie rankings on the site, I hate that I even have to give like a number to these guys in this second tier, the Mendoza, Tate, Tyson, Lemons, because if I had to actually put a number on them and have it solidified on the site, it'd be 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, because I really don't care. I truly don't care. It is so fluid for me. You know, I said that with Tate, Tyson, Lemon. And honestly, as I've said all offseason so far, if I have the 102, I am completely comfortable trading back to the 105 unless I just want to take one of my guys and get whatever I can in addition on top of it to make that move. But I think the top 5 is a clear tier for me. I'm a huge Mendoza guy. And I think he's worthy of being at the 102. I'm not going to sit here and claim he is my 102 locked and loaded and he has to be there. I don't think he's in his own tier, but I certainly think as of today, I think we could all agree, and you let me know if I'm wrong, that at minimum, he's in the conversation. He's in the tier. You can have a conversation about it. And you know, we can make those decisions as we go along. Again, I appreciate y'all so much for being here with me. If you didn't hear just before, we are doing a giveaway today for one of our live team playbooks. We have all new a la carte offerings on the site. If you want to enter to win a live team playbook today, it's very simple. All you have to do is like the stream and of course, type 102 into the chat. It's that simple. You like the stream, you type 102 in the chat. I mentioned this in the Flock League this year, but I find it so funny. I'm in this position now where there's people that I'll never meet in my entire life, and they know who I am, and I have haters now. I love it. This guy, Angel_Rams, comments on every single video I release and comments, "You're not a scout, bud." I love seeing it, because what this guy doesn't understand is while you're being a hater on me, you're helping the channel grow. It's hilarious. Yeah, you keep coming back, you keep watching the videos, you keep commenting. I mean, please don't scare me with interaction and help my channel grow. That would just be terrible. But again, I appreciate y'all being here. Even the haters are in the chat. And let's go ahead and let's jump into a rookie draft, y'all. I want y'all to join me. Let's go ahead and let's just send this straight into the YouTube chat. This is a first come, first serve situation. I would love for y'all to come join me here. If you're going to join, then only join if you can commit to the entire draft, okay? Only join if you can commit to the entire draft. Please don't be that guy where we're in round 3 and you're clocked out, okay? There'll be plenty of opportunities for you to join later on. but I would love for y'all to come join me. And it's very simple. You don't have to have a paid account to join me in a rookie draft. All you have to do is have a free account. And if you want to create a free account, just make sure you use the promo code LAND at sign up. But it's completely free to create an account and to jump on a mock draft with me. Let me go ahead and send y'all a link here if you want to create an account for free, again, using the promo code LAND. And then you can jump into as many mock drafts as you want the entire offseason. Okay, we've got 3 spots remaining. Once we fill those up, we'll get this going. Oh yeah, the Treylon Burks days were rough, man. We grew a lot as an evaluator since then. It is true. I mean, how funny, Lee John says, NFL scouts miss all the time. How funny is the Keon Coleman discourse right now? Are y'all seeing the Keon Coleman stuff? Where the owner comes out and says, look, Keon was a guy that the coaching staff wanted. And basically throwing Keon under the bus. And then you come back and you get, clips previously of the GM being excited about Keon Coleman. That entire franchise is just in complete dismay right now. Guys, we've got 2 spots. 2 spots to jump into this rookie draft with me. I'll paste a link in the chat again. It's right there on YouTube. 1 spot remaining, and we are good to go. This is a Superflex 12-team mock draft, rookie mock draft, and we are using the landing spots from Tankathon's latest mock draft. I'll put that link in the chat here now if you want to follow along. Let's go ahead and let's look at this hypothetical world, okay? Of course, we don't know exactly how the NFL draft's going to pan out, but I thought for this first one, let's use these landing spots. For the second one, we can talk more player traits, but we can talk about what this draft capital, what these landing spots would mean for Dynasty rookie drafts. So, in the world we're living in today, Fernando Mendoza is the 101 to the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think that changes all offseason. Then we have Carnell Tate to the Titans at pick number 4. We've got Jordan Tyson to the Giants at pick number 5. Jeremiah Love is a New Orleans Saint. So I guess, RIP the days of Alvin Kamara. Right after that, our next pick, which I am really interested to see how the community reacts to this one. Mekhi Lemon joins the Baltimore Ravens. I cannot wait to talk about that. Next offensive player off the board is Kenyon Sadiq to the Panthers at 19. We do get 2 quarterbacks in round 1. Ty Simpson to the Steelers there at pick number 21. Denzel Boston is so interesting because I like him as a player. I think other people may be slightly higher on him than I. But if he goes to Philly, I mean, you got to get a trade of A.J. Brown for me to be excited. Outside of, otherwise I'm just like, damn, that's not awesome. KC Concepcion, awesome fit for him there with the Los Angeles Rams. I like that landing spot a ton. Chris Bell at pick number 39. He goes to the Browns. I don't think Chris Bell's going to go this high coming off the torn ACL. I could be wrong, though. Jeremy Bernard to the Saints. Elijah Surratt, one of my favorite players in the class, to the Jets. This is all round 2. Branch to the Panthers in round 2. Chris Brazzell to the Niners. That's really interesting, especially with the Ayuk news lately coming out. Jacoby Lane to the Bills. I don't think Jacoby Lane is as bad of a route runner as Keon Coleman was coming out, but I'm not sure Bills fans would be in love with this, with the type of receivers they've drafted in the past. Omar Cooper, one of the last second-round picks there to the Denver Broncos. I don't love this landing spot just because I do feel like Pat Bryant is starting to kind of break out as that number 2. Troy Franklin's there. I don't know. Trinidad Chambliss there in the 3rd round. We also get Max Clare out of Ohio State to the Chiefs. Antonio Williams, one of my favorite players. I actually think he'd be a perfect fit alongside DK. He would be actually the perfect fit. I'm hoping that Arthur Smith is actually gone. Eli Stowers to the Bucks, which is an awesome fit. Jamari Johnson to the Ravens. Jadarian Price, round 3, Minnesota Vikings. Then we get Carson Beck to the Dolphins, who had a stinker in the college football game. Jonah Coleman to the Jags. That would be really difficult to digest with him and Tootin there. Michael Trigg to the Dolphins. Deion Burks, I want to scout him really bad, to the Patriots. Jack Indries to the Broncos, Malachi Fields to the Seahawks. Then in round 4, Skylar Bell, one of my guys, to the Raiders. I like that with Mendoza. Nussmeier to the Jets. I really don't get the Singleton pick here, honestly. I don't get it because, with all due respect to Nicholas Singleton, you're drafting a worse version of Trey Benson in my mind. I just don't get it. Nicholas Singleton is big, athletic. I think he's worse than Trey Benson. I don't understand. C.J. Daniels goes to the Browns. Emmett Johnson to the Chiefs. Let's see what that will do here. Drew Aller to the Colts. Katrin Allen to the Packers. And Damon Claiborne, one of my favorite players, to the Bills. He'd be a good Ty Simpson replacement. Any other big names here? Justin Jolly to the Saints. So those are the landing spots we're going to use in today's rookie mock draft. So why don't we go ahead and get this thing started here. And in 10 seconds, we'll count down. Appreciate y'all big time for being here. I agree, those landing spots for the running backs are definitely enticing. No surprise, Jeremiah Love is the 101. In this world, like we mentioned, he would be a New Orleans Saint. And I do think Alvin Kamara would be pretty annoying in year 1. But obviously, there's a very clear direction, you know, in his second year in the NFL where he's getting those 300 touches or whatever that could look like. I like the fit. There's been a ton of success historically, you know, with running backs in New Orleans. We get Mendoza at the 102. I mean, we talked about it earlier. We said, all right, is Mendoza your 102? Can we lock him into that spot? Here, people are comfortable enough to take him there as the 102. After that, we get Lemon at the 103, Tyson at the 104, and Tate at the 105. I'll be honest, if this is how the NFL draft really were to go and I have all those guys in the same tier, there's just not a chance Lemon's going to go first for me. Not an absolute chance. I mean, let's have a conversation about it. But if Tate and Tyson are top 5 to the Titans and the Giants, which I like those landing spots for them. And then you get Lemon to the Ravens. I mean, Zay Flowers already there, kind of playing inside outside. I don't know, man. I just do not think I'm trusting Lamar Jackson taking his wide receiver at the 103. I don't think I'm doing it, man. What do you guys think? I just do not think there's a scenario here where Lemon as a Raven is going to go ahead of those other guys for me. Now, while I'm yapping, let me look at my rankings here. I think I know where I'm going to go next, but yeah, like I said, Boston to the Eagles is strange. I think I know where I'm going to go next. But I think there's a huge fall off here. Massive fall off. Massive fall off here. I've said this all offseason so far. I mean, the 105, there's a huge tier break here. And if you got the 106, I'm so sorry. Ever since we saw Dante Moore declared kind of come back, rather, to Oregon, I mean, that 106 just lost heaps of value. I'm going to go ahead and take Casey Concepcion here at the 106. I think it's one of the weakest 106 we've had in a long time. But in this world, we did see him go to the Rams at pick 29. I just want to be in that Sean McVay system. If he sees Casey worthy of a first-round pick, then I'm all aboard the idea of taking him there. What does the chat say? Zach says, I took Mendoza because it fits my current team. I can get my hands off of Dak or Goff. Lemon to the Ravens would be a pass for King. Waffle says, Lemon is my least favorite prospect this year, so I wouldn't take him above the other two. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think there's a lot of conversations to be had there. Jadarian Price at the 107. I definitely was considering Jadarian Price. He went in the 3rd round to the Vikings. I mean, look, it's a really enticing landing spot. It is round 3. So as we know, those hit rates do drop off a little bit historically. In fact, I haven't had a chance to update these this off season. So I'll do that here in the next month or so. But if you look at the historical hit rates we put together last year, let's look at round 3 running backs, because there is a drop off. Just star status, which is a top 24 point per game season for a running back. From round 2, you go from 71% basically to about 50%, a true coin toss. That's only a top 24 point per game season. But in superstar status, the drop-off is even more steep, from a 42% chance to a 22% chance in round 3, right? That's a top 12 point per game season. So this year, for example, in round 3, you could have drafted Cam Scattaboo, or you could have drafted Caleb Johnson. And you would have had two very different reactions to drafting those two guys. But I do like Jadarian Price. I think RB2 is very weak this year compared to previous classes. I think the 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 11, 12 are all really weak this year compared to previous classes. But I don't think taking Price there is, the wrong move per se. I don't think it's like a crazy move or anything. We then get Kenyon Sadiq off the board. Sadiq is super interesting because what a freak athlete he is. In this world, he went in the first round to the Panthers. What I love about Sadiq, it doesn't really help fantasy necessarily, but he is an absolute dog as a blocker. I mean, he's got that George Kittle mentality as a blocker. He gives all of his effort and attention to improving the run game, and I think that gets him on the field very early for an NFL team. Then we get Emmett Johnson at the 109. I believe Emmett Johnson was a 4th round pick to the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, guys, let's be for real. When the 109 in your first round of your rookie draft is a 4th round running back, I mean, look, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I got a lot of hate last year for releasing all those videos telling y'all the 26 class was looking really bad and to sell those picks. I got a lot of hate. Oh, this guy's an idiot. Nobody can scout 1 year out. The picks are always going to be more valuable, the year that they're there in April. And yeah, that's true. Like, the picks will gain more value in April because people love drafting. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying I feel pretty good about those calls right now. Denzel Boston at the 110. I think he probably would have gone higher. It's just, I don't know in this scenario if we're assuming that A.J. Brown was traded or not. Because if A.J. Brown was traded, I would probably go Boston over Concepcion at the 106. It'd be a conversation at least. Jonah Coleman at the 111 is surprising to me. I thought Coleman would either be the 107 or the 108, considering he went to the Jaguars. I think he's a great fit for that team. But obviously, I mean, him and Bashul Tootin basically are going to be battling it out there, as he was a 3rd round pick to the Jags, pick number 88. So yeah. And then Chris Bell at the 112, I think it's too high for me. Surratt, one of my favorite players in the class, comes off the board. I love me some Elijah Surratt. Can't help but see, it's not the floor, but I think the ceiling for an Elijah Surratt has got to be Michael Thomas for me. People, I think people look at route running and they think the guy has to be twitchy. He has to move quick and he has to be really fast. I think that's silly. I think that's so silly because people keep saying, well, what about his 40 time, Zach? Every year I try and beg with you guys, please stop caring about 40 times. Please, in the Pajama Olympics. How many John Rosses, Xavier Worthies do you need to see, guys? Elijah Surratt is plenty bursty. That's what I want. He's a great separator. He's a technician. He knows how to win both with his body and with IQ and with his hands. Ty Simpson falling that far was pretty surprising to me personally. He was a 1st round pick to the Steelers. So I understand why he went here. I thought he should have gone higher than that. And I'm not even a Ty Simpson guy. Did Omar Cooper go? I think Omar Cooper went off the board, right? Ooh, I think I know who I want to take. Omar Cooper was drafted at the 204. We had Brazel Bernard off the board. I am going to take a my guy here, and this is maybe too early, But if you guys have watched any of my content this year, you'll know I am a huge Damon Claiborne fan. Huge Damon Claiborne fan. And I love the landing spot, man. He goes to the Bills here. It's 4th round. But he is a perfect Ty Johnson replacement. He is just, I mean, this is going to sound stupid to say, but if you were to give me every running back in this class and their best clip, their best single clip, Damon Claiborne would have the best clip by far. I mean, the way this guy hits a open hole, and he's gone. There is nobody in this class, it's not even a question, that has the acceleration and the long run speed at running back like Damon Claiborne does. The guy is the definition of a rocket. I mean, you give him one lane and he is just absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely gone, excuse me. I mean, this guy's got Devon Achane track level speed. Absolutely. So I'd love to picture him there in that Bills offense. Ty Simpson, yeah, I mean, I think Ty Simpson's probably a 1st round pick in this world. Look, in a weak class where you get a quarterback going in round 1, I don't think we can be too picky here. I mean, there's a chance any of these guys in the late 1st end up busting. So if Ty Simpson's a 1st round pick, I'm taking him probably over Kenyon Sadiq, taking him probably over Chris Bell, probably right around the 109, 110. Right there. I'm responding to Carson there, who said, what's the highest you would take Simpson? So yeah. Chris Bell went to the Browns, I think, in round 2. Yeah, he was a round 2 pick to the Browns. So after I take Claiborne, we get Skylar Bell, who, remember, one of my favorite players in this class as well. He ends up linking up in round 4 with Fernando Mendoza. I still like Jack Besh, and I'm hoping that a new coaching staff will actually let Jack Besh work. Then we get Jacoby Lane, who, if we remember, went to the Bills. My concern with Jacoby Lane in round 2 to the Bills is you've drafted a prospect like this before. I don't know. Maybe it was just the wrong personality. I don't know. Maybe it was a wrong work ethic with Keon Coleman. I don't know. I was personally surprised that Jacoby Lane came out. I thought he would do another year in college. I think if he stays healthy, it probably would have benefited him. But it is a weak class, so that could definitely help. Trinidad Chambliss comes off the board. I don't view him as a starter in the NFL. I think he went in the 3rd round to the Cardinals, but you want to take a shot on him there. Eli Stowers, I am hearing so much positive news on. I can't wait to dive in. Don't love the landing spot to the Bucks. There's just too many receivers already, but I think I might like his game a lot based off what I'm hearing. Katron Allen went way too late there. Way too late at the 212, in my opinion. I mean, he went to the Packers, so I get it. But I mean, he and Emmett Johnson are within 10 picks of each other in this world. Obviously, one goes to the Chiefs, one goes to the Packers, so I get it. But I think Katron went a little too late there, in my personal humble opinion. Joshua, what's up, man? He says, Dart wasn't a 1st round pick, if I remember, in early drafts. I don't think he was. Yeah, I think he was outside the 1st in consensus, for sure. Dub G. Morgatili says, what current player can we get for the 106? It's funny you asked that because I just released a video a couple days ago with that exact question answered. So if you want to find out how I'm valuing these picks, well, not how I am, how the community is, check out this video we released 2 days ago. Every pick in the draft, I'll tell you what sort of values you can get for players. So, who do we think is the best value so far in the draft, guys? Who do you think is the best value? I think it's pretty clear. But so far through 2 rounds, in your humble opinion, Who do you think is the best value? What's up, Garrett? We're going to get to trade questions. We're going to get to the team reviews all after the mock drafts. I promise you guys. I absolutely promise you. And by the way, while I'm waiting for you guys to tell me who you think the best value is, if you haven't already signed up for the giveaway today, we are giving away a free team playbook. All you have to do to enter is simply like the stream and type 102. Once you've done those two things, you've liked the stream, you type 102, you will be automatically entered into today's giveaway to win a team playbook. Appreciate y'all big time being here. I don't know what happened to Bob here. Did Bob make a pick? I don't know what happened there. Is Micah with us? Is Micah able to make a pick? Okay, best value so far in the draft. Let's see. Excellent says Ty. Mike says Ty. We've got an Omar Cooper submission and Elijah Surratt. Sherlock says, I don't know what happened on Bob. Did you make a pick, Sherlock? Like, did you actually try and pick someone, or what happened? For me, the answer is clearly Ty Simpson. It's not even close. I think Ty Simpson by a country mile is the best value there on the board. You know, I'm not necessarily high on Ty Simpson. I'm not a Ty Simpson guy. I wouldn't say he's a my guy or anything. But it's a first-round quarterback, and you're getting him at the 205 in a really, really weak class. I would say Ty Simpson there would certainly be my submission. Trying to get a gaze. Brian Flores remains candidate for head coach jobs, but will remain with the Vikings otherwise. He signed an extension with the Vikings. Wow. I thought for sure Brian Flores was about to be a head coach. I thought for sure. Dang. Okay, so Michael Trigg comes off the board. I don't know what happened there to Bob. Let me send a screenshot through real fast to our dev team. I've heard a lot of good things about Michael Trigg. In fact, I haven't dived into the tight end class enough. But Michael Trigg has had a lot of, good reports. Okay. So we get Branch at the 304. I like Zachariah Branch. I don't think he's some can't miss pick, but I do think Branch is a pretty big value there at the 304 personally. I mean, what was he, a second round pick? Yeah, second round pick to the Panthers. I guess it's hard to know where the volume is going to come from. We already can't really rely on Bryce for Tet. Then you got Coker emerging. So I understand why he went late, but just that draft capital, I think he was a pretty good value on the board there. I'm on the clock. I almost assuredly know who my pick is. It's going to be a my guy. I am absolutely obsessed with him. Can anybody guess? I'm not going to go to his profile. Who am I going to select here, guys? It's a my guy. Who's been watching the content? Who's been on the streams? I'm about to take a guy that I am absolutely obsessed with. I think he can be. Let me give you a little hint. The absolute ceiling, not the likely outcome, but the absolute ceiling, the best world scenario, the best timeline. This is Julian Edelman. Okay. Again, not the likely outcome. There's like a 5% chance that happens. That is Antonio Williams. Welcome aboard, Antonio Williams. He goes at the 306. In the draft, he was a third-round pick to the Steelers. Was it second or third? I think it was a third-round pick. Third-round pick to the Steelers. That sounds disgusting, but let me just tell y'all something. There's a good chance that whoever the new head coach is in Pittsburgh has a new offensive coordinator that they're going to bring in. So it probably won't be Arthur Smith. And Antonio Williams is the perfect number two. The perfect hand-fit number two to a DK Metcalf. He can play inside, outside. He's got a ton of versatility. I really love Antonio Williams' game. Like I said, Julian Edelman, Jamison Crowder is the floor. I think he's going to be a fantastic player. And what you know it, in my team fits, you can see the Pittsburgh Steelers there. I love him, man. I love him. There was talks about him being a potential first-round pick after his freshman year. He never really put it all together, but as a route runner, he's got the works. He's a very good route runner. As Nussmeier comes off the board, Eric Singleton went back to college. So just a heads up. Guys, I was shocked that Justice Haynes went back to college. I thought he would have stayed at Michigan, but he went to Georgia Tech. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out because without being disrespectful, we don't really hear many Georgia Tech prospects going high at any position. Certainly not running back. Jahmyr Gibbs played there, but he went to Alabama. I just wonder if the NFL really didn't like Justice Haynes. Because to commit to Georgia Tech, maybe they gave him a bag, but I don't know how your draft capital rises staying another year and playing for Georgia Tech. I don't know. I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. It's just, I gotta be honest, it's a little confusing. I'm a little perplexed. As Malachi Fields comes off the board. Malachi Fields is, an interesting name. I think he's got some clear limitations to his game. Former Virginia Cavalier. Wahoo wah. 2 up, 2 down. He goes to Seattle, so it's really hard to envision, him breaking out in Seattle. All right, should we do another one? Should we do another one? You guys want to jump into another mock draft? What do you guys want? Should we do another one? Do more people want to join this time? And for the second mock draft, do we use landing spots? Or do we just go straight off of prospects? What do you guys want? I'll put a poll in the chat. What do you guys want? Let's get another one going. Obviously, we'll get another one going. You guys will have a chance to get in there with me. We'll make it 90 seconds this time instead of 2 minutes. Rookie Superflex, 90 seconds. I think all that's fine. I'm going to claim... the 106 spot just sucks, man. All right, right now, go to the chat and vote on what you want in that poll, because right now, you really have the power to sway this, whether we use landing spots or not. Right now, most people are voting landing spots. It's fun having those conversations. But you got power to change this in the chat. Where do you guys want me to draft from? Someone give me a number. Someone give me a number, whatever number you want me to draft from, and I'll do it. The first number I see in the chat is where I'll draft from. Someone said the 112. Okay. 112. You guys just want to put me in hell. You just want to lock me in absolute hell. Okay, I'll take the 112. And here's a link. The link is I'm about to paste a link in the mock draft for the mock draft right now in the YouTube chat. Okay. All right. So it is first come, first serve. There the link goes. Here's what I'll say. If you want to join me today or in future drafts, all you have to do is create a free account, sign up using the promo code LAND, LAND. I'll spam a link in the chat for you now. If you don't have an account yet, you want to jump into mock drafts with me in the future, you want to jump into mock drafts with other people in the community, offline as well, create a free account, sign up with the promo code LAND, and you'll be able to jump into as many drafts as you want to all year long. But for now, let me spam this link to this draft as well. We've got 4 spots remaining for you guys to come join me. Yeah. Yep. Look, Steven says, y'all remember that season Zach couldn't get higher than the 109? That was the startup drafts, I think. And that was not fun. We got 2 spots remaining here. If you've already joined one, you can join again. We've got spots here. Adam says, what sort of future pick haul can I get for this year's 102? Honestly, guys, I don't think, and I could be wrong, I don't think there's a pick this year that's giving you some huge haul. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I want to hear everyone's opinion. But I don't think there's a pick this year that's giving you some massive haul, some massive return outside of the 101. You know, in previous years, the 102 could do that. I don't think that is the case this year. And again, I want to hear everyone's opinion on that. But like, if you are thinking that you can trade the 102 for the 105 and 2 future firsts or something, like, I got bad news for you. It's not going to happen. All right, here we go. We're jumping into another mock draft. Same settings, super flex, Dynasty rookie mock draft. We'll use the same landing spots. Landing spots 1 out. So it'll be the same exact landing spots as before. And if you want to get caught up or follow along, I'll paste the Tankathon mock draft there in the chat for you. Adam says, I just don't love this year's draft, and I'd like at least 1 future first in a couple seconds. Yeah. There's probably a world out there where you can get a 27 first and like a late 26 first. I don't know. I don't think people are like obsessed with this class. Big Vegan Beef there at the 101. Thanks for joining us, Big Vegan Beef. And if you guys are just joining the stream, I let everybody know earlier, we are doing a giveaway for one of our live team playbooks. All you have to do to enter is simply like the stream and type 102. That's today's code word. Again, just like the stream and type 102. That is the simple way to get into today's giveaway. I'll give you a little update on that, by the way. We currently have 36 entries. 36 entries as of right now. All right, let me be a little bit more aware of the chat now in this second mock draft. I want to be a little bit more aware of your guys' questions in the chat. Let's see, as Jeremiah Love goes to the 101, no surprise there. Well, this is an interesting question. Where does Mendoza go in a 1 quarterback draft? Someone asked. Yeah, let me look at my 1 quarterback big board. This is not updated. I'm getting an updated version out soon. But I put him right around 16. Yeah. It depends on where these running backs go. And Justice Haynes isn't here anymore, so he'll be taken out. Same with Hollywood Smothers. So right now, technically 14, which would be the 202. But, you know, if Price, Coleman, Johnson don't get good draft capital, I could easily move him higher. He could probably end up like late first range in a 1 quarterback mock. Yeah. Adam says, I'm obsessed with next year's draft. Cam Coleman, sad Auburn fan here, and Jeremiah Smith just scratching the surface of next year's draft. Yeah, I am. I'm a little concerned that, like, here where I think I discovered this last week on stream. I'm worried that we might be, as a whole, collectively too high on the 27 class. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Jeremiah Smith is probably, a top 5 dynasty receiver the day he's drafted. But quarterbacks still need to develop because you're banking on Arch, you're banking on Lenoris Sellers, you're banking on development. Dante Moore still being good, not getting injured. But at running back for 2026, that's what I'm really concerned about. Because personally, I can't tell you a running back in 2026 that I'm like, or sorry, 2027 where I'm like, oh, this is a Bijan, this is a Gibbs, this is a Jeremiah Love. I mean, right now, no one stands out 1 year out as like a first round pick to me. So I am a little bit concerned that there's a possibility we're too high on the 27 class, because if quarterbacks don't develop, and they should, and running backs don't pan out the way we want them to, then I'm just saying, like, I'm not sitting here saying it's overrated. I'm just a little bit worried about where the momentum already is. That's all I'm trying to convey. I'm sure people will take that the wrong way, but it's not meant to be. Okay, so after the 105 break, we get Boston, who went to the Eagles in round 1, Concepcion, who went to the Rams in round 1, Price, who went to the Vikings in round 3, Ty Simpson, who went in the first round to the Steelers, Jonah Coleman, who went in the third to the Jags, and Elijah Surratt, who was a second round pick to the Jets. I'm on the clock here. I'm probably going to go Kenyon Sadiq. In this world, he is a first round pick. I think he's the last first round pick available. He went to the Panthers. Yeah, I can't think of a reason not to take him there. I do like in this mock draft that there was no running back in round 2, because that's how I think it's going to pan out. I think this is actually quite realistic in some areas. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take Kenyon Sadiq there. Freak athlete. Huge fan of him. Really needs to work on those hands, though. Those hands are not the most reliable hands right now. Yeah. JW says, would you be reluctant to trade 26 picks for 1-to-1 for 27? I have 9 picks in 26, 5 in 27. Oh, no. Let me be very clear. We already know. Okay. Like, people are going to be upset about this. We already know that, right? The 26 class doesn't look good. We already know that today. And there's not much that's going to change that outside of people outperforming expectations. So I would trade the 106 to the 112, almost any of those picks for a random first and 27. Let me just be very clear. I would be more than happy to do that. I'd much rather re-roll into a lottery than just say, all right, you know what? Here's, I'm kind of just stuck here. I'm kind of just stuck here, you know? So we've got some trade questions we're going to get to here in a second on the Flock site. We got some team reviews, obviously we'll do as well. But I really appreciate y'all being here and hanging out with me. As Omar Cooper comes off the board, I do like Omar Cooper. He is rising in my rankings, I will say. I'm starting to become a big fan of his game. Emmett Johnson at the 205. Last draft we had, he went the 108. This seems more realistic. I mean, I think if he was like a second or a third round pick, he probably goes higher than this. But, you know, he goes to the Chiefs in round 4. It's just round 4 hit rates are atrocious. This was last year's data, so I need to update it. But based off last year's data, which was 11 years of previous history, 8% hit rate for a superstar in round 4. 19% hit rate for a star, which is a top 24 point per game season. So not exactly, you're not exactly making a great bet, you know? Yeah. That's so true, Juke. Mike Washington's a big name I've been hearing a lot. I really want to dive into his film. A lot of people are big Mike Washington guys. Look, I haven't watched film yet, so I don't really have much to say. But it kind of reminds me of like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt in a way, where it's this guy who's kind of, you know, moved his way through different conferences. Ja'Cory really didn't get to play his last year, But I will say, fifth-year guy. But anytime someone averages 6.4 in the SEC, yards per carry, you can't laugh at it. What I can't wrap my head around is how is he like a 4 yard per carry guy in the MAC in the Conference USA, and then he goes to Arkansas and he puts up 6.4 yards per carry. Like, where does that efficiency come from? You know, when you jump conferences so drastically, you almost never see that kind of jump in, you know, in efficiency. Like I can't really think of many examples where that's happened in the past. So it is like, certainly it's a good thing, but it's a little bit of eye raiser where it's like, how did that happen? Do you know what I mean? Like, why did that happen? How did that actually come to pass? I like the Claiborne pick. All right, I'm on the clock here, I think. Let's see. Oh, Antonio Williams, damn it. Katrin Allen. Oh, those are great picks. Okay. What are we going to do, Zach? Thank you. What are we going to do? Come on, make a pick. I don't think anyone I really love is available anymore. Jacoby Lane surely got drafted, right? Okay, maybe I'll just go there. I'm not the biggest Jacoby Lane fan, but second round to the Bills who have a clear need. Yeah, let's just grab Jacoby there. Again, I feel like there are some clear developments that need to happen. Some of the same things I said about Keon Coleman coming out, but he's a great athlete. Just because you're a great athlete doesn't mean you're a good route runner. Oftentimes that's misconstrued. I want to apologize in advance because I do officially have a Vicks vapor drop because my throat is killing me. It's not a candy. Oftentimes when I do this, people are like, why are you eating candy? Not eating candy, just to be clear. Yeah. JW says, how many picks do you consider too many? Yeah, I mean, we talked about this in a video a couple weeks ago, but if you are in a Dynasty League and you're looking at your team and you're like absolutely thrilled, it's like your favorite team, and it's your favorite team because it's the youngest team and you have the most draft picks, I hate to break it to you, but you're probably not playing Dynasty the right way. The ultimate goal in Dynasty is to win. You know what I mean? So if your goal every year is how many draft picks can I stack, I mean, you can play that game. Unfortunately, the payout for the most number of draft picks in your league is typically $0. So I don't know. If you guys have teams where you're sitting on like 20 first round picks, what the hell are you doing? Like, go use them to build a team and win a championship. You know what I mean? Like, of course, there's a balance there. Like, you know, the worst thing you can do is just be a middling team forever and just be stuck in mediocrity. But, yeah. No worries, JW. Appreciate you. JC says, what's a package with the 106 I can move up to the 101? I just think it'll cost way too much. I just think it'll cost way too much, man. You're going to have to pay the 106, at least 2 future firsts on top of that, at least, if not more. People are really high on Jeremiah Love. Steven says, hey, shout out to the live team review. Spoiler alert, my review from the last 2 years finally got a chip. Let's go, baby. Congratulations on the chip. Yes, we are going to jump into some team reviews. We got a lot of trade questions we'll go through. And then we got some team reviews as well that we will jump into. Of course, if you guys want to submit a team review today, you know, you've got the 3 options. The live team playbook, which is tier 1. Tier 2 skips the queue. Tier 3 is the pro pass, which gives you double the playbooks. And that's all available on the Flock site. I can give you all a link as well if you want a playbook. Let's go ahead and make that the pinned comment there at the top. This is close to being the last chance to enter today's giveaway, by the way. Okay? This is close to being the last chance you can enter today's giveaway. All you have to do to enter is like the stream and type 102. Currently at 43 entries. 43 entries. Someone's going to get a free team playbook. Draft squad, hold it down. Okay. Michael Trigg at the 304. Darius Taylor. I don't even... Has Darius Taylor... Has he committed? Is he... Like, did he declare? I genuinely have no idea. If I'm not mistaken, he had a pretty big fall off. He's a junior. Yeah, I mean, his junior year, I would be shocked if he actually declares. He had a pretty big fall off in production. The efficiency has never really been there, but surely this guy's not going to come out and declare. I do like Le'Veon Moss. It's crazy because almost every year when I'm doing my big board, you know, wave one of my rankings, I've got like 50 names. This year, wave one, like 30 names felt, all right, I've done a lot. It's just, I don't even know what 4th round picks are worth this year, man. Yeah, I'll take a shot on my guy here, CJ Daniels. Didn't really make the impact I wanted him to in the college football playoffs. Honestly, kind of sad about it because I think he had more in him that he could have given. Carson Beck definitely could have played better, but I don't think he played his best, unfortunately. Okay. This is your last chance to enter, to jump into this giveaway. Like I said, all you have to do is like the stream and type 102 in the chat. What I want to do is I want to take a second and just quickly let you guys know. I mean, a lot of you guys will already know this, but some of you will not. I'm going to paste a link in the chat. And if you want to jump into real rookie mock drafts that have real money on the line, the only place to do that in the entire world right now, the only place to do that is FastDraft. Truly. FastDraft is the only place to do it. If you've never played FastDraft, you can sign up, use the promo code LAND. I'll match your deposit up to 50 bucks, and then you're going to get my rookie report free sent to you. But I've already jumped into a lot of these drafts here on Origins. I'll show you guys the team that I put together here just this week. I drafted this team. This was right before the national championship game. I'm telling you this because the ADP is so exploitable right now. I got Mendoza at the 102, Jadarian Price at the 207, Stowers at the 307. Here's what's crazy. These next 3 picks, shocking. Omar Cooper in the 4th round. Skylar Bell in the 5th. Mark Fletcher in the 6th. I am almost convinced to the root of my being that this is going to be the draft that wins me the Origins version 1 tournament. Again, the only place on the planet right now where you can draft for real money on the line in a Dynasty rookie draft. It's specifically designed for you guys who are Dynasty degens, who spend all your time thinking about Dynasty rookie drafts. You want to get some practice in, you want to win some money, easy way to do that on FastDraft. And you can feel free to DM me if you're going to jump into a draft. I'd love to jump into one with you. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this giveaway. All right. Spin the wheel. We have 52 entries. 52 entries. I want to wish everyone a good luck. I want to wish all of you a fantastic good luck here. But this is to win a live team playbook. All right, this is to win a live team playbook. And our winner for today is Daniel Johnson 674. All you have to do to claim your team playbook, my friend, is DM me on Discord. There's my username. I need you to send me a screenshot of the stream and tell me your Flock Fantasy username, and I'll hook you up, my dude. Thanks so much for showing some love to the stream. Thanks for hanging out with me and having some fun. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump into just a review section. Okay. So from here on out, you can submit reviews if you want to, join the queue. I'm going to be looking at all your trade questions. I'm going to be reviewing some Dynasty teams. There's a little queue that we got, but you're certainly welcome, to join that queue. And obviously, if you get the priority pass or the playbook pass, you can actually jump the queue. But if you weren't with us last week, just want to quickly let you guys know, if you're already an annual Mother Flocker member, well, it is the best that it's ever been under the promo code LAND. All annual Mother Flocker members, I promise you, you've never seen a deal like this before. Whether you're set to renew or whether you want to become a brand new member, you get the live team playbook by default, the War Room, which is a game plan for your rookie draft, the trade hotline, which is 12 trade question vouchers over the course of a year. You get our rookie report. You get $10 on FastDraft as well to do rookie drafts. So that's a free rookie draft right there. Obviously, you get all the other exclusives on the Flock site. Again, if you're not a member on the Flock site already with the promo code LAND, this is the best time ever to do so. However, we also have options for any of our a la carte people. So if you're a member of a different promo code and you want to still get a review from me, you want to jump the queue or whatever the case may be, you can do all of that as well through the Flock Store a la carte website. Okay, let's jump into these trade questions first. Food Baby sent a trade. Would you send the 103 and Colson Loveland for Trey McBride? This is interesting. What do you guys think about this? Let's have an open conversation about this one. Colson Loveland and the 103 for Trey McBride. There's no tight end premium. All right, no tight end premium in this one. That's Loveland and what? Mekhi Lemon, Tate, Tyson, Mendoza. At the same time, how many years have we seen rookie tight ends fall off in their second year? It is not uncommon. I think it's pretty close. It's a start 9. It's a 16-team league. So depth is actually really hard to come by. And because of that fact, because it's so hard to find a good starting lineup, big roster, big league, 16 teams, I'll go ahead and take the 103 and Loveland side of that. That's very close. Like I said, we'll get to these team reviews in a second. Kaprisky says, trade back on first or hold. I have a lot of holes. Well, my friend, when you submit a super message, all I can see is the text. So I don't know if you thought I could see your team or something, but you can do that with a team review. What I will say is, if you want to trade back, the only spots you can really do that and get value is the 102 down to the 105. I don't want to trade back beyond the 105. There's a huge tier break. It's actually the 104 and one quarterback. So that's a very specific question that's going to be determined by your league, but I hope that's helpful. Sam had a trade question. He says, I'm not accepting this offer, but is there a good counter? I do not want to sell the 107 plus 201 sometime. Okay. So you are receiving the 107 and Jalen Coker for Monongai, Algier, a third and a third. I'm confused why you wouldn't accept this. Sorry, you're the one sending the 107. I mean, is there a counter here? I just feel like my counter will be so far off this original offer, I don't know that it would really matter. Like, with all due respect to Kyle Monongai, Tyler Algier, let's just call a spade a spade. These thirds aren't worth anything. Tyler Algier, maybe he does something in free agency, but yeah, I just don't see how you're sending a first-round pick for anything in that package. If I'm selling your first, then I either want their 2027 first give him Coker in the 107, take a first? Or is there a player on their team that I like? Let's see. Is there a player that makes sense on the squad? I take Roma Dunze for that. I would take either Warren or Loveland for that. But outside of a structure like that, I just don't understand why you would make a deal like this, quite frankly. Yeah. Okay. Duke, what's up, Duke? This person is sending away the 105 and the 107 for George Pickens. Okay. It's a one quarterback, start 8. So you would lose the 105 and the 107. It's a start 8, which means you would probably start Trevor, Love, Genty, Wilson, Pickens, Bowers. That's your 7. Your 8 would probably be whoever's at the 102, 103. I'm not opposed to it. It seems a little expensive. I don't know. What do you guys think? This seems a little too expensive for me. I'm not opposed to the idea, but let me ask you, Duke, how would you feel if you made this trade and then George Pickens doesn't re-sign in Dallas? How would you feel about that? I wouldn't feel good about it. Like, let's just say he signs, let's say like a team that could make sense. Actually, what we should do is, let's see who has a lot of cap. Okay, so he signs in, let's just hypothetically throw out Tennessee. He signs with the Titans for max money. Las Vegas, New York. I don't know. I mean, I'd probably feel sick about it. Let's ask the chat. The thing is, if at the 105 you end up with Mekhi Lemon or Tate or Tyson, there's a chance. I love George Pickens. I was a huge advocate to buy him last year. You can go watch anything. There's a chance that, you know, that player's as valuable as George Pickens. I think you're making a big bet here on George. Let's get some votes in the chat. Give me some votes in the chat, please. Okay, so far 64% of you guys are going to take George Pickens. 62%, 50%. It's pretty close. I guess all that goes to say is it's about as even as a trade gets. You know what I mean? Like, it's about as even as a trade gets, and I don't have a strong opinion on it. I think if he signs in back to Dallas, then you're probably getting him at a discount. If he signs somewhere else, you could regret it. Ultimately, you have so many picks. I would prefer not to use all of them on a draft either. So I think it's about as even as it gets. I don't mind taking the trade. All right, Sam, what's up? Sam, it's a super flex 10-team start 11. He would send the 303, the 107 Coker, and Rice. He would get back Malik Willis, Pickens, and Pittman. Rice versus Pickens, you can choose who you want there. I slightly prefer Rice. And then I don't understand the rest of the trade, honestly. Again, like, the way I'm viewing this, Rice and Pickens, assuming Pickens stays in Dallas, is a wash for me. Okay. So then what the hell is worth the 107 on the trade that you're getting? I don't get it. Just transparently, like being honest. You're here for honest, transparent feedback. What is worth the 107 on the right side of your screen? Nothing. Nothing is. I think Coker and Malik Willis can add similar value. I think he's going to be a starter, obviously. So let's break it down even more. The third and the fourth don't really make much sense. So the way I'm viewing this is you're basically getting Michael Pittman for the 107. Now, I'm not a fan of the 107 this year, but I don't think Michael Pittman should be that expensive. So I'd be a hard pass on this one. Transparently, I don't really understand. I don't really understand. Is there a different receiver here? I mean, Jameson makes a lot more sense to me. If you can grab Jameson. That makes a lot more sense to me. Outside of that, I'm probably not doing it. Another trade here from Sino. Not a big fan of Tate, so it secures Tyson and Lemon at 2 and 3. Would attempt to get me some seconds and thirds out of him too. Would then flip Baker for picks and Brees. So, in this scenario, someone is trading they're sending the 104 Brown and Rice for the 102 and Bo Nix. I don't know. This is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. Yeah, I'm gonna need the chat's opinion on this one as well. Let's start a poll here. I think you could go either way, which is what's hurting me. So the 102 and the 104, for me personally, I don't care which one I have. I would be totally fine with the 104 or the 102. I don't think you're getting a benefit there. So clearly you do, based off what you submitted here. You believe you're getting a benefit because you're not going to draft Tate, hypothetically. I think Tate's just as deserving of being the wide receiver 1 as anyone else in the class, so I would disagree, but I'm trying to play it through your mindset. I don't like the idea of tearing up. However, the way I view this is the 104 and the 102 is a complete wash. I truly do not care. What I'm trying to figure out is would I rather have Bo Nix, it's a super flex league, or Chase Brown and Rashee Rice? That's tough. That's a tough call. Bo Nix, or do I want Chase Brown and Rashee Rice? I think that's pretty fair, man. I think that's pretty fair right down the middle. Someone tell me I'm wrong. Right now, it's a 54% versus a 43% vote. I think this is about as fair as it gets. So, I don't have a problem if you want to pull the trigger on this. You're team 4. So you'd be adding Bo Nix. You'd be losing Rice and Brown. I will say, I have no idea how you replace Chase Brown. I guess you have more trade. You're going to go try and get Breece Hall. Okay, I mean, look, I'm indifferent. I think you can make this work either way. I think from a value perspective, it's about as even as it gets. I might slightly prefer the Chase Brown and Rashee Rice side. I think you're doing a lateral move and maybe slightly losing just to get from the 104 to the 102, which I wouldn't do. But I think it's about as even as it gets. What's up, Jonah? I see you there. G Money here with a trade question. Flick X 106 take a running back. Will Petzing unleash Laporta? I don't know. I hope so. We'll see. But you're sending away Nico and Laporta for the 106 McConkey and Warren. Okay. If Nico Collins has another down year and Ladd McConkey has another down year, I think you could make an argument if they both have down years in 2026. Ladd will preserve his value more than Nico will. Just because of youth. I hate that this is the 106 though, G-Money. I hate that this is the 106 because I just do not care about the 106 at all. Honestly, that's where I'm struggling. If that was a 105, it'd be the most no-brainer whatsoever, and I would take the package. But I honestly don't really think there's that much of a difference between, like, I don't think anyone's going to know if the 106 this year, consensus, whatever it ends up being, is more valuable than whatever the 112 ends up being consensus-wise. I really don't think anyone has a clue. And if they're telling you they do, I think they're just lying to you. There is not a strong consensus. Obviously, after the draft, there will be. But I'm saying that because the 106 is not a pick I'm really obsessed with having. Can you turn that into a player instead? No, there's not really a player that makes sense there. Would he be willing to give you a 27 first? I mean, the 106 is right down the middle. Ooh, Harvey might even out there. Harvey's not far off the 106, actually. I'd prefer Harvey over the 106. If Dante Moore was declaring, it probably wouldn't be that way. I don't know. I think I'd be close to preferring Harvey over the 106. So I wonder if you could do something where, let's say you take away the 106, but you ask for Harvey and Caleb. And then you throw the 308 back. I like this counter more because I feel like I know what I'm getting. I like the Caleb Johnson ad as a speculative, what could he do with a new coaching staff? Really talented prospect. Does Kenneth Gainwell move on? I like this counter more, but either way, I think it's relatively fair. I really do. All right, I think we had a couple more trade questions coming, and then we'll get to these reviews. This is from Dan. What's up, Dan? Other team really wants RJ. Who should I pursue? So RJ Harvey versus Cam Ward. Okay. Other team. Okay, I mean, I can see who you have here just by coming. Okay. So they really want RJ Harvey, do they? Is it a super flex league? It is. You've currently got Mahomes, Darnold, Burrow. I mean, Cam Ward, I don't think makes a lot of sense for you. And I don't have some strong feeling. Like, yeah, Cam Ward could break out in year 2. He had flashes in year 1. But also, you know, he could also not. I mean, it's pretty close. So he really wants RJ. Who do you have at running back? You got Bucky. Brother, I mean, I don't know how the hell you're going to replace RJ Harvey. If you're expecting to do it in the draft, I guess you have Jeremiah Love. Outside of Jeremiah Love, I don't know how you're replacing RJ Harvey. So I'm not obsessed with this idea. You're kind of just betting on Cam Ward here. If you have a strong feeling that Cam Ward's going to be successful, you know, all right. If that floats your boat, get it floating. I mean, you could bet on like a Roma Dunze. I feel like he's getting pretty affordable. You know, you can make it a 2-for-2 where you ask for Rome instead of Cam. And then you find some way to even this out. What kind of picks do you have? You know, let's say I don't really care for the 107 and the 108, honestly. But you move up slightly in the draft, all right? Because I would put Harvey and Odunze pretty close in value right now. I'd be fine with something like that. Although, I don't think you really need to force it. All right. Time to get into some of these reviews. Let's see if anybody has a priority pass review or if anybody bought the Pro Pass. Because if they do, I will catapult them there to the top of the queue. A lot of regular playbooks today, which is great. And then we have one playbook Pro Pass from Jonah. So Jonah will be the first one we look at. He'll jump the queue. I just realized NJ Casanova has a trade as well. I don't know why I didn't see that. Okay, so Jonah has the priority pass benefit, but he wants me to wait. I'll wait on you, Jonah. Just let me know when you're ready. All right, NJ Casanova, one more trade here before we get into the reviews. He says, other team is obsessed with Garrett Wilson, looking for recommendations on potential trades. Other guys obsessed with using KTC. Okay. Okay, so first off, like, there's just not a chance in the world I'm sending Garrett Wilson away for Lab McConkey and Stephon Diggs. Other guys obsessed with KTC. Okay, let's have a look then. But I just want to start there. Like, no, Stephon Diggs is not going to make me make this trade work. Let's get rid of some of the fluff here. Okay. So you said he's obsessed with KTC, so let's try and work KTC here. Yeah, I'm not going to get Stephon Diggs back. I do not care. He doesn't really have... Does he have a first? He has a first. Think about that. You have Daniels, Ward, Bryce. I wonder if you could do like a Bryce Burrow thing here. I'm just looking at your options. He's got Rashee Rice. Okay. Where's your team at right now? What is your team looking like? Let's see. Right now, you've got in a super flex, right? Yeah. You've got Daniels, Ward, Bucky Brown, Wilson, Pickens, Warren. So if you're going to move Wilson, you lose your best receiver. You don't have capital, so you need to compete this year. Yeah, I mean, first off, if you're going to do this, there needs to be a running back coming back to you. Or a pick that gives you more flexibility. I don't love any of these running backs. Like, I don't mind the idea of getting Travis Etienne, but I don't know, dude. I don't think this is the right partner for you. Like, maybe you could make a case for Ladd and A.J. Brown. Certainly, Stephon Diggs is not going to do anything for me. That's a joke. But as a contender, I think you probably would need, like... It's just we don't know where Etienne's going. It doesn't sound like he's going to return to Jacksonville. And I don't think I would do this for Ladd and Etienne. But... Look, Ladd and Etienne's a fine counter. I'm not obsessed with these. Ladd and AJ, they're fine counters. I probably still prefer to bet on Garrett Wilson. The other idea, which I don't think is realistic, is you do like a pick swap where you send him your 209 and get a first. But again, I don't think that's realistic. Those are some counters you could try. Okay, I think we can finally get into the team reviews. All right, let's jump straight into it. Like I said earlier, if you're interested in getting a team review, there's a couple ways that you can go about doing that. You can either become a promo code LAND annual mother flock, remember. You'll see a link in the pinned comment here in the chat where you can do that. Or you can buy one a la carte, all right, with any promo code. You can buy one a la carte. Again, link is in the chat. Okay, so we'll wait on Jonah. And let's go to our first team review of the day, which is CSB. What's up, CSB? Hold it down. We'll just make sure there's no trades. Dan says, Zach, you said I should. What are you referring to? Pursue a Dunze for Harvey. Is that still smart considering I have Loveland? I don't mind it. I mean, they're two pass catchers on the same team, so I understand it, but you know, I don't mind it. It wouldn't change how I operate, but overall, I don't really like the idea in general. Okay, let's start with CSB. What's up, my friend? This is a 1 quarterback, 12 team start 10. So this is our meat and potatoes. No. Start 8, CSB. CSB is a start 10 or is it start 8? Let me double check on the background. It's a start 8. So CSB is a start 8. It says that on the background, so we've got that noted. Ivan says we should review one of your teams, Zach. We can do that. All right, meat and potatoes we got here for CSB Bills. Half PPR, no tight end premium. His team name is the Bills, which makes him 11th. So I'm expecting this not to be a good team. He says, for context, I'm 0-3 in championships. So you're the Buffalo Bills, basically. Lost again this year and traded away Reek, Kittle, Mixon, Kyron, Jacobs this past offseason. Obtained the young wide receivers I have and picks from above. Would love some help getting back to contending. Open to any and all opinions. Thank you. Okay, let's have a look. So you're currently ranked 11th, which is not ideal, obviously, but that doesn't mean you can't compete. Maybe you just have a bunch of veterans. We'll have a look. Patrick Mahomes. This is a 1 quarterback league, so could be worse. Patrick Mahomes, I guess you're going to need to hope that he's ready to go week 1. He says that he will be, but I don't think he can really promise that. Again, full transparency. At running back, you got no one. Yeah, dude. And then at wide receiver, you've got 2 real big disappointments and not much depth. I like your tight end room. Honestly, being fully transparent, I don't see a scenario in which you're competing, my dude. I'm really sorry if that's not what you wanted to hear, as I'm going to take a seat here as we kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the stream with these reviews. But it sounds like you want to compete. I think you can lie to yourself and pretend that you're a contender, but there's not a chance, man. There is not a chance that this team is a contender. Not a chance. No way. That 103 is going to give you a receiver. No, dude, you're not a contender. I'm sorry. I can't give you the contender status. This is a 1-year punt at minimum. At minimum, this is a 1-year punt. And if you want me to be brutally honest, your team grade is probably a D+. This is not a good team. This is not a good team. All right? And I can lie to your face and tell you what you want to hear, but you're no contender right now, in my opinion. Not at all. Draft capital is pretty decent. You got 2 firsts and 27, so I'll give you a B+ there on your draft capital. Maybe an A- on your draft capital. That's good. The future looks fine. But there's just absolutely no way you're rolling out Caleb Johnson, Kenneth Gainwell, because none of those picks, like the 103 is not going to give you a running back in this draft. And none of those late seconds are going to find you a starting running back. And you don't have depth anyway. I'm sorry. Brutally honest is the way to go here. And this team is in no position to compete. Absolutely no position. And I don't want to just tell you what you want to hear. I want to tell you the truth. So this is a hard 1-year punt. And I'm sorry if that's not exactly what you wanted to hear, but it is the God honest truth. Okay. We are going to look at your picks here in a second. And we'll come up with a game plan. But if it was me and this is my team and that's what I think you're here for, then there's just no chance I'm trying to compete with this. Okay. Your untouchables, by the way. I don't think you have any. There's no player on this team that's not tradable for me. Your holds, I would be holding Caleb Johnson, Alec Manor, Elijah Arroyo, Mason Taylor. Those are names I would definitely hold. You can easily drop names like Jordan Watkins, Ricky White, Jalen Polk, Damian Martinez. And on the waiver wire, I do think Mac Jones And Calvin Ridley should be picked up, just speculatively. Mac Jones is worth rostering, I think, even in your format. Okay. I'm sorry that wasn't more positive, but let's get to the war room. I think this is where a lot of this review is going to kind of be helpful for you. At least I hope so. You've heard a lot of negatives. Let's go to the positives. You got some draft capital to work with. Honestly, though, like the 207 to the 211, they're kind of in the same range now that I think about it. So it's not like there's a ton of flexibility there, but obviously you've got picks all in that range. All right, at the 103, it's a one quarterback league, so it's going to be one of the big three receivers. Okay, so you're going to be taking either Mekhi Lemon, Carnell Tate, and Jordan Tyson. Those are the big three. Depending on what happens in the NFL draft, I think that will determine it. But if you're going to stick and pick here with these picks, then, you know, that's where I would go. And then honestly, at this point, if you're going to stick and pick, like, I can't really tell you exactly what the late second is going to look like. I can give you a rough guesstimation. Let me do that. Late second, it's a rough class, man, but you're going to be somewhere probably with the following names, right? You're Damon Claiborne, CJ Daniels, Zachariah Branch, Le'Veon Moss, Jamari Taylor, Nick Singleton. Like, that's just a guesstimation at this point. We really need to see more. If you're going to trade the pick, which honestly, I don't really think that you should. I really don't. Like, you need to start building some of these wide receiver rooms. And running back room. You can't build your running back room in this class, but your wide receiver room isn't strong enough anyway. And what is this? This is a start 8, right? Yeah. So you're going to have to add, I wouldn't really, the only thing I would do is trade back one spot, one quarterback. Yeah, we can trade back one spot. So let's see who has a 104. And if there's a deal there to be made. Okay, so Kiss Kiss has the 104. So hypothetically, I'd have no problems with getting the 104 and the 109, for example. I know I don't like this class, but I would do that pretty comfortably. You could even send, you know, your 303 in here or something. But that's an idea that I would have no problem with. Whether it costs a 303 or a late second or nothing, I would definitely be open to exploring that. Alternatively, if it's not the 109, could you get a Bashul Tootin? I like that idea a lot, actually. I like that idea a lot. Yeah, that one makes a ton of sense to me. I don't think he's going to give you a 27 first, so not to trade up one spot. But outside of that, you don't want to trade down beyond the 104 in a one quarterback league. For these seconds, I would trade any for 27 seconds. And I would trade any of these thirds for any 27/28 thirds. Because I don't love the depth of this class. So if I were you, that would be my game plan for your rookie draft. Sorry, it's not more positive, but you know, you guys appreciate the honesty, right? You appreciate the honesty. I'm not just going to tell you what you want to hear, and I hope that that's okay. Let's jump into your chalkboard though, because there are some more moves that we can make. Let's go in-season moves, and let's go off-season. So in-season, I think Patrick Mahomes is a name that you can move off of. In the offseason, maybe Juwan Jennings, Jake Ferguson. So in season, I'd love to sell Patrick Mahomes for any first. Not any first. I would say like a mid-future first. Is there a team that's competitive that needs quarterback? Let me check. Well, the good news is those top two teams do need quarterback. One has Jordan Love Penix, the other has Stroud Bryce. So you might be actually able to trade those guys now. Like, if you could hypothetically trade Patrick Mahomes for like a Luther Burden plus, I wonder what like KTC would say on that. Again, just as a tool, I just want to see Burden versus Mahomes and non-superflex. Non-superflex says fair. Okay. I was hoping there was like wiggle room there. Yeah. Maybe not as much wiggle room as I was hoping. Yeah, no. But he'd probably be open to moving off of Burden or Odunze. I wonder if you could buy low on a Bucky. No, let's keep it simple. Get back CJ or Bryce in this. You know, something like this. You could also do this move for a Odunze, and depending on what he thinks about a Odunze, you might actually be able to get more. Just depending on, again, his perception of a Odunze. Ideally, what I wanted to do is like get Luther Burden. This was my ideal goal, and I don't think it's going to work, where like you send Patrick Mahomes in a second for Luther Burden in a first. I don't think that's going to actually happen. That's not realistic. That's your ideal outcome, which here doesn't exist anymore. Maybe it existed mid-year. All right, the other guy who has a need has a ton of running backs. No picks in the future. I don't think he's going to really be wanting to make a move, but I'd love to get Drake London. How far would that be off? Probably pretty far, hey. I love to give like Drake London, and then you have what, like those late seconds. I would try it. Again, I don't think it's realistic. 207, 210, 211. That's a great building block for you. And keeps your team bad because you have no quarterback. In the offseason, you can send Jennings for, you know, I'd say any 27 second to a contender. And I would do the same thing for Jake Ferguson. I don't think you're going to get a first. So that'd be my game plan. Again, I know you came in really wanting to, you know, compete. Anybody in the chat want to debate with me there, like saying that this guy should compete, let me know. I don't think he should. This is where I would stand, and you'll get that playbook here within the next, say, 3 to 4 business days. I'm sorry it's not exactly what you wanted to hear, man. Okay, is Jonah with us? Is Jonah with us? We got a trade here from Dan, so let me answer that real fast. So, would you send away the 105 and Harvey for Hunter and Pierce? No, I don't get this one again. I don't understand. Because again, the 105 is such a valuable tier. The 105 is more valuable than Hunter, Pearsall, or a second easily. And RJ Harvey is probably more valuable than any of the pieces there as well. I like Travis Hunter. I want to buy him low. This is buying him way higher than what he's valued at right now. I like Ricky Pearsall. I want to buy him low. This is buying him way higher than what he's valued at right now. Right now, I think people prefer the 105 over Hunter. They prefer Harvey over Hunter. You're missing out on a Tate, Tyson, Lemon, or Mendoza here. And you're losing the 2 best assets and gaining the 3rd and 4th best assets in a 5-asset deal. It's a hard no for me. Like, it's not even close. It's not even close for me. Okay. Is Jonah with us? You know what? I'll wait to hear back from Jonah because he does have that priority pass. And I'll just go straight to staplers here. Okay, cool. All right, let's get Jonah going. Only reason I'm doing him above everyone else, that sounds weird, is because he got the pro pass. Shout out to you, my dude. So anybody who comes out here and gets the pro pass also includes the priority pass, which basically bumps you up the queue. So appreciate you, Jonah. I'm going to go ahead and give you that free review because when you buy the pro pass, you get double the reviews. I will say, keep in mind, you can't go use that voucher I just gave you to upgrade to a pro pass. In fact, I'm kind of keeping a database on the back end to make sure we don't have people doing that. I don't imagine you would, but I have to tell you that. I'm just going to add you to that database. Okay, cool. All right. It's a Dynasty Superflex 10-team start 10. Dynasty Superflex 10-team start 10. I'm just going to get your playbook up here. Ready to go. Just a little admin work. Let's have a look. Went from second this year. Went from last to second this year. So obviously you made some pretty big improvements. And we'll have a look at the squad and see what that looks like. Not sure how to continue dominance. Biggest move was getting Chase this past season. Briz and I keep sending each other terrible trades. So I want to help other people out. Okay. You won this league last year. Okay, cool. Okay, love it. The 2019 LSU boys, you're currently ranked second in the league. And let me double check on the back end. This is a Superflex start 10, correct? Superflex start 10, which is our middle ground. You can start up to, I think, 5 receivers in a format like that. On the Flock site, they've got you 6 at quarterback, 4 at running back, 1 at receiver, and 3 at tight end. Okay. We've got, what a squad. Daniels, then it's kind of weak at quarterback. Genty, Taylor, Chase, Jefferson, Harold, Fannin. We start 10. So we need 3 more names. Olave, Higgins, Javonte. You got Marvin on the bench, Laporta on the bench. This is a great squad. I like this squad a lot. No first and 26. I wonder what you did with it or if you traded it like in a previous offseason. But no first and 26, so we got to keep that in mind. So looking at your untouchables, how many can we name? Jaden Daniels, Jamar Chase. You know, I can name Ashton Genty, Justin Jefferson. You got a lot. As far as holds, I think White is a solid hold. I think he could be a starter in the free agency slate. Coker's a great hold. And, wow, you got Kyle Pitts too. Let's add Jalen McMillan to that. If you want to drop someone, yeah, there's not really a drop here, honestly. Is there anyone on the waiver wire? I mean, yeah, is Tez Johnson really on the waiver wire, or am I misreading that? It's a 10 team, right? So there's probably some valuable waiver wire guys. Yeah, I don't think I'm dropping anyone here. You know what? Yeah, I'll drop Chigakonkwo. I got no problem dropping him. I dropped Chigakonkwo. Mariota, you kind of need to hold because you have Daniels. Honestly, both your quarterback twos, Murray and Young, are really holds. You're not going to sell them right now. On the waiver wire, I do like Tez Johnson, Elijah Arroyo. You know, I like those guys, but you don't really have room. You could pick up one of them if you drop Chig, though. And then, Yeah, I want to drop Chris Rodriguez, but I don't at the same time. I think he's going to get buried ultimately this offseason. I don't think he's going to be the starter. Draft capital grade. Yeah, C+. You don't have any first this year. So, overall team grade, though, this is a great team. That wide receiver room is ridiculous, dude. That wide receiver room is ridiculous. I would probably rank this in A minus. Reason I can't give you an A plus or an A flat is because that quarterback 2 spot is really where, you know, I think the team has some troubles. But you're definitely a contender. There's no reason not to go out there and contend with a roster like this. So, yeah, man, big fan of the squad. Really well built and, you know, built to win right now, built to win in the future. And I think we're going to have fun looking at the possibilities with this team. We will go to the war room. In case it goes without saying, war room for a team like yours might not be as impactful as a different, you know, the team we just did, by the way. For example, you got 3 picks this year. You got the 209, the 309, and the 409. And breaking news, nobody wants any of them. Not a soul wants any of those picks. So transparently, like if you were to just stick and pick, I'm just going to put this like to the 409. I don't really know what that looks like yet. So I'll just put BPA. Now, if you were to trade them, I would say add them in a package, right? And we'll look at those packages here in a second on the chalkboard, but the 209 in Javonte Williams, or the 209 in Kyler Murray, the 209 in Bryce Young, the 209, you add it with Kyle Pitts and Marvin Harrison, and you get a big upgrade, you know? And I would say the same thing for all of these guys. Now, I will say that at the 209, there are some names that really entice me that I think could work for you, like a Jonathan Brooks. Depending on where you are with him, maybe you're not as high on him as I am, but he's a name I would be eyeing there. I'm thinking running backs, Blake Corum. Caleb Johnson's a little high maybe here, but if you can get something in return or use the 309. Outside of that, because I think you could use some depth at running back, I think that's probably your game plan right now with those picks. Again, it's not going to be as impactful as your chalkboard here today, but hopefully you get why. Let me jump in here. So there's a couple messages from me above. He says, just put in Tez for Chig. I love it. Spencer Rattler's cuttable if you're in a smaller league. Bigger league, you hold. Briz Laporta trade. What was the Laporta trade with Briz? Let's go to the chalkboard. Let's go to your chalkboard here. So like we said earlier, we got the 209 to kind of play around with, so I'll keep that in mind. Ultimately, you got good depth. I think we want to find a tight and needy team and sell, let's just say, for now, all trades, Laporta and Pitts are interchangeable, okay? Because I think that's what I'm about to jump into. A first in Ricky Pearsall for Laporta. Probably regret that now, but it's a premium. It's a premium. So that's good to know, obviously, because you'll have more trade negotiation with these tight ends. So again, thinking about your starting lineup here, you're going to start 10. You're starting Daniels, Murray, Genty, Taylor, Chase, Jefferson, Fannin, Olave, Higgins. In your last flex spot, probably Javonte. Could be Marvin. Could be one of these tight ends. What I would love to do is, because there's some uncertainty with Javonte, is I'd love to either turn one of those tight ends into an extra running back, because I think your wide receivers are fine. Don't even need to really tier up. Or I'd love to turn one of those quarterbacks into a more solidified name. So Murray and Bryce Young, I think maybe you could trade Bryce Young right now. Murray, I don't think you can. But let's just use Sam Laporta for now, but it's all interchangeable. So these are the two ideas that I have here. This is to get a running back. This is to get a quarterback upgrade. Okay, so who needs tight end? That's really where our leverage is. Terrence Ferguson owner. They've got Dak. I don't mind exploring Dak. You're not going to get Burrow, but the 209 in Laporta actually might not be that far off. I know I said running back, but that's probably not that far off in your premium format. I don't mind the Bryce Young idea, but I don't love Dak being the only thing we get in return. I'd want like Dak and some upgrade. I would want to find a way to get a Monroe St. Brown here. So Bryce Young, Laporta, and then who else? We could throw in like a Marvin. A Marvin in the 209. Getting a little too creative here, maybe. Something like this. In your format, I don't think Laporta and Dak will be far off. So that doesn't seem like a crazy deal. And you can afford to lose some depth. You could definitely afford to lose some depth. Okay, 209 and Sam Laporta. Let's keep looking. Give me 1 second, sorry. I've got this throat coat tea to help my throat because I've been going through a sickness lately. Will, let me get that filled. I can probably tag. I've got a group chat. If you want to DM me on Discord, I've got a group chat that drafts together. So if you want to DM me, and also you can join the FastDraft Discord. Everybody's always talking about joining a draft. I'll get that filled right now. And I'll jump in with you. Okay. That's a little creative, but I like it. I like it, Jonah. And I think it works. Breece Hall. I don't mind an idea like a Laporta for a Breece Hall straight up. You know what I mean? Something like that. I think in your premium, that's what makes it probably realistic. Okay. This guy does not have the quarterbacks. Throat goat tea. No, sorry. Throat coat. Sorry, throat coat. It's my wife's a singer, so she says it's good for your throat. Anyway, my throat's killing me lately. Which is obviously not great, having to speak on stream. Okay. I don't mind the idea of like a Judkins Scattaboo. Probably Scattaboo's more realistic. And you could throw in like the 209 to make this work if you need to. For a Judkins or a Scattaboo. That could definitely work. Can't get a quarterback upgrade there. Who am I looking for? I'm looking for tight end needy teams. Damn, everybody has a tight end. Okay, the Travis Kelce owner. Could be a great chance to grab Mahomes kind of on a low here. So it would probably be Bryce Young and Laporta for Patrick Mahomes. I think that's probably where I would stand there. I don't think I would go cheaper than that. Last guy is Brenton Strange, but who the hell are you going to trade for? Maybe the 101? I don't know. I don't think you're going to get the 101. I mean, could you send him Bryce Young plus Sam Laporta plus the 209 for the 101? Probably not, but it's worth exploring if you got Jeremiah Love. Those are the main trade ideas I would have, Jonah. Let me know if you want me to explore something, but that's probably where I would go with this. Like I said, let me know. It's a fantastic squad. You're definitely built to compete right now, but I want to make sure I give you the best review I possibly can. Jonah says, I feel like I need quarterback support more than anything. Yeah. What do we have there? We have the Dak Prescott deal, the Patrick Mahomes deal. There's not a lot of tight and needy teams, and that's where your leverage is. Yeah, I mean, I think Dak or Goff is the most realistic for you. I think Dak and Goff is where you could get a deal done. Maybe Justin Herbert. Like, let's throw out that idea there again with Mahomes. Same idea. Justin Herbert. Will, are you with me? We just got into a fast draft tourney. I am here at the 104. Where are you at, Will? Will, I see you at the 106, I think. But yeah, John, I think that's where your leverage points are, man. I don't think anyone else... You need someone to have a tight end need. Unfortunately, in a 10-teamer, that's harder to find. You could do Darnold. I don't really want to buy Darnold because, like, your quarterback room, it's not the best, but there's enough there between Bryce and Kyler. Kyler's going to be a starter somewhere. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to take Mendoza at the 104 here in this fast draft. Yeah, Mike, I'm in an Origins draft right now. Let me see if I can show y'all. Dude, the ADP on Origins right now is ridiculously easy to exploit. I got Mark Fletcher in the 6th, the last draft that I did. But me and Will are in here, a couple of others. But currently drafting these damn rookies. Like, they need to take Dante Moore out of the system, to be honest. What's up, Solid Gin? I think I can. It just depends. If you get the priority pass tier, then I'll jump you straight to the top of the queue. Otherwise, I'm gonna be live tomorrow as well. So this is the first time all year I'll be live in back-to-back days. And tomorrow I'm gonna do quarterback rankings and then pump through a ton of team reviews. So even if it doesn't happen today, I promise it's gonna happen tomorrow. But if you get that priority pass, that'll definitely jump you straight up the queue there, dude. But Jonah, I appreciate you big time, man. And thanks for buying the Pro Pass. Appreciate you. All right. Next one that we've got here is Staplers. Jonah's longtime OG. I appreciate my OGs. All right, Staplers, let's have a geese. It's a 1 quarterback. It's actually a start 7, though. On the back end, it says start 7, so I know that's the right one. As I'm on the clock here. Jadarian Price just went. I'll draft Elijah Surratt there. Jonah says, you ever going to give me a wrench? Oh, yeah, I actually should. All my OGs deserve a wrench. Add as moderator. Okay. Bang. Jonah's got the wrench now. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. Appreciate you, Jonah. Great squad, man. I mean, you should be competing for years. Okay. Who's up next? Staplers. Is Staplers in the building? let's jump to staplers. One quarterback. It is actually a start 7, like I said on the back end. We found that out. Start 7. He says the draft is a lotto draft for the bottom 4 teams. 1 to 50%, 2 to 25%, 3 gets 17%, and 4th spot gets 8%. I do have 2 28 firsts as well. What trades can I do or positions should I focus on? Thank you for your help in all your videos. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for supporting the show. Our name is Staplers. We're currently ranked 1st, which is great. We've got 3 picks this year. I'm just going to set up your picks here on the back end. Got you, Jonah. Got you. Oh, I just accidentally got drafted Dante Moore like an idiot. I'm going to set my queue here real fast. Okay. All right. We've got Kyler Murray, Cam Ward. Not a great start there at quarterback. But at running back, Bijan, Harvey, and Judkins. That's a fantastic room. At wide receiver, JSN, Jefferson, Adunze. At tight end, Loveland, Fannin. Is there a premium? No premium in this league. So we'll take note of that. No premium in this league, like I said. It's a good team. Right now, you're probably starting Kyler Murray. Obviously, he's going to be a starter somewhere. It's only a start 7, so depth is not that important. But your starting lineup is probably Kyler, Bijan, Harvey, JSN, Jefferson, Loveland. That's 6. 5, 6. 7 is either Adunze or Judkins or Fannin. One of these names. You're set up really well. Oh, and by the way, welcome aboard Jeremiah Love. Welcome aboard whatever receiver you want to draft at the 102. Yeah, this team's great. I almost feel like you can afford to trade that 102 for a superstar quarterback. I really think you've got the wiggle room there. Draft capital grade, I'll give you an A- because you got 2 really important picks here. Overall team grade, I think it's a good team. Considering it's only a start 7, I'd probably put you at that A-. Yeah, I'd probably put you at that A- mark when you're about to add Jeremiah Love here. And this is definitely a contender. So back-to-back contenders here. For me, there's no doubt about it. This is definitely a squad that you can go out there and win a championship with. Untouchables, by the way, you've got a lot, but we'll say Bijan and JSN. You should hold, in my opinion, names like Kyle Williams, Terrence Ferguson, Tyler Algier, Cam Ward. You can drop Kendre if you need to. On the waiver wire, you've actually got a lot of really interesting names like DJ Moore and Godwin, and these names should be considered. Caleb Johnson. Honestly, the fact that Sam Darnold's on your waiver wire, he should definitely be rostered in my opinion. But you've also got Matt Stafford, who you probably started all year. I think it's a great team, honestly. I think it's a great team. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to navigate this one because there's a lot of different possibilities for a squad like this. And I want to make sure I cover every avenue for you. Okay, let's go to the war room. You've got 3 picks in the first round. You've got 2 very important picks. Obviously, if you stick and pick there, you're going to go Jeremiah Love. At the 102, it's one of the big 3 wide receivers. Again, Lemon, Tate, Tyson. At the 108, it's this range. I'm not obsessed with it. But as of right now, the 108 includes names like Denzel Boston, Concepcion, Sadiq, Coleman. It's kind of where the 108 is right now. Let me know if I'm missing someone, guys, but that's kind of about the range, I would say. Okay, if you're going to trade this pick, I wouldn't trade the 101 unless it's like an absolute haul. You need something ridiculous, right? I mean, if someone is for some reason willing to give you, you know, like an Ashton Ginty and something on top, a, you know, Gibbs, a Bijan, then fine. But outside of that, you might as well just stick and pick Jeremiah Love. At the 102, this is where I'm saying I'm not completely opposed here to trading for an elite quarterback in a one quarterback format. So I'm thinking, because I'm not always great with one quarterback values, I'm thinking like, is Drake May around here? So Drake May's not that far off, which means we could definitely consider like a Jaden Daniels as well. Yeah, the 102 is actually worth more than Daniels there. So I'd be curious if we could do like a Drake May or a Jaden Daniels plus something. Let's see what the Jaden Daniels owner has. Where is Daniels at? So the Jaden Daniels owner already has Joe Burrow. This could work out well. You know, shoot, can we get Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin? Can we get that combo? I would love that. I mean, shoot, can we, if we need to, can we also add in, you know, to make the deal work, a Troy Franklin, you know, the 102 plus Troy Franklin or something? You know, I would love a deal like that. At the 108, I think you should go out and try and grab a veteran wide receiver personally. And let me show you how this all comes together. But I'll say veteran wide receiver, and then we'll go to the chalkboard and we'll really play this out. But think about this hypothetically. You stick and pick at the 101 with Jeremiah Love. Awesome. So we have Jeremiah Love. We use the 102 to get Troy, let's say Jaden Daniels, maybe, and Terry McLaurin. Okay, so now we have a starting lineup, which we haven't used the 108. Our starting lineup now is Jaden Daniels, Bijan Robinson, Jeremiah Love, JSN, Justin Jefferson, Colson Loveland. We can only start one more player. And who is that one more player? I don't know. Is it Judkins? Is it Terry? Is it Rome Odunze? Is it Alec Pierce? Is it Harold Fannin? The point is you have more than enough depth to go out there and get an elite quarterback. I love this idea. Honestly, I really love this idea. So I'm very much on board of it. Will, if you're having any issues, Will, go to the Discord, my friend. I can't fix it. I don't own FastDraft, but go to the FastDraft Discord. They have a section there for any issues that pop up, and I promise you they're going to get back to you and help you out there, my dude. If anything, give you free $10 anyway. But I love this idea, Staplers. I think you're in, like, this war room is absolutely perfect for your team. I think we're cooking with gasoline here. Let's go to the chalkboard though, and let's keep cooking up. So that war room is perfect. Like we said, we'll explore the 108 for a veteran receiver. Let's see. We'll explore the 108 for a veteran receiver. I don't mind the idea of even like packaging the 108 and like a Michael Wilson. So those are two ideas we can explore. The 108. So this 108 range, I just did a video on this. Let me just refresh my memory real fast about what that range is for a receiver. Let's see, 108, 108, 108. So we're in the 108, we're in the range of like your Luther Burdens. He might cost a little more than that. Rome Odunze's. You already have Rome, correct? Yeah, so you've already got Rome. Probably don't want to add Bird in there. You're in that Brian Thomas range. T. Higgins might be harder to grab. Jamison Williams, you know, that kind of range. What I would like to do is I would like to attach the 108 in Michael Wilson. And I'd be curious to see what names would be possible there if we did that. 108 and Michael Wilson. Can we get a Chris Olave, hypothetically? Can we get maybe a Nico Collins? No, I think that's maybe too high. George Pickens right now, we're not really sure what's happening with him. Maybe an Emeka Egbuka. This is really shooting for the moon, honestly. Like, you might have to attach Michael Wilson for some of these names up top, like your T. Higgins. I wouldn't do it for Jameson Williams unless you got like a second in return. But that's the kind of range I'm thinking of. Alternatively, you can send that 108 for a future 27 first if you don't want to deal with it. Because honestly, you already have enough depth. I don't mind the idea of like building out a a future kind of draft capital, I guess, inventory. But combined, I think that's an incredible review. I think you've got more than enough information, and I think you're going to kill it, man. You're going to win for a long time. I promise you'll get that playbook within the next 3 to 4 business days. Okay, let's go ahead and refresh here. Let's see where we are. Let's see where are we at right now on the back end. Okay. We got the priority pass there from Solid Cajun, so I'll do his next. If you're in the building with me, Solid Cajun, I see you. I hear you. So let me get you all set up. He bought the priority pass, so he will jump the queue. What's up, Keith? Keith says, only have 2 running backs, but might get one in the draft, the 107. Yeah, I love Travis Hunter, but if you're planning on replacing Chase Brown with a running back at the 107, I do not think that you're going to be able to do that. I'm sorry. I don't think you're going to be able to do that. And if you plan on competing this year, you do not need wide receivers. You need running backs. So if your plan is to compete, then I don't think you even consider this deal. I don't know how much cornerback Travis Hunter is going to play. I don't know how much wide receiver he's going to play, but the 107, I don't think there's a running back that goes in the second round, dude. I think we get third round running backs and we see if they have good landing spots. So I don't think that's the best move for you personally. Okay. All right, Solid Cajun. I see you. I hear you. And you're in the chat with me, which I love to see. All right. I'm just setting up your chalkboard here. Have you had a review with us before, Solid Cajun? Glad to look at the squad. Team name is Cokehead, so I'm going to almost guarantee that we have Jalen Coker on the squad. And this is a Superflex Start 10. So let's pull that up. Superflex Start 10. You're currently ranked first, which is great news. The Flock site has your quarterbacks ranked second, your running backs ranked 9th, your wide receivers ranked 3rd, and your tight ends ranked 6th. Let's have a look at the squad. All right, so I'll call you Jake. Okay, so Jake says, I took over this team last offseason. I have the 101 because in season I had Neighbors in Hampton and only Bryce and Penix at quarterback. Traded Neighbors for May and traded Neighbors for T-Law and Brian. Sounds like you were pretty active, man. Let's look at the team. Again, start 10. So we've got May, Trevor. We're starting Brees. No RB2 yet. That's okay. There's guys that maybe you could fit in there. Then London, T-Mac, Gadsden. And then you've got 3 more starting spots, probably Burden, Thomas, Wandale. Now, obviously, RB2 is going to be filled by Jeremiah Love. I like the team. You've got 2 firsts and 27. I'm going to give your draft capital grade an A flat because you have the 101 this year with Jeremiah Love, which has so much power. Overall team grade, I think this is a solid B+. Solid B+, and I think we should go out and contend. I think you've got what you need to go out there and contend. Obviously, injuries could really derail that, but I like this team enough to say, yeah, let's go out there and let's try and win it. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Untouchables, Drake May. I guess Drake London is the closest, or Jeremiah Love himself. I would definitely hold Jonathan Brooks. I would hold JCM. I would hold Matthew Golden. And I would be looking to hold probably Tyler Algier as well. A lot of these running backs because of free agency here. If you want to drop someone, you can drop LeKent Allen. I personally don't care to hold on to him too much. And then I don't really think you have another drop per se, excuse me. But is there even anyone interesting on the waiver wire? Ooh, Devon Vele I would definitely roster. So maybe you just make that one move and you drop LeKent and you pick up Devon Vele. He had some great chemistry there with Tyler Shuck at the end of the year. Okay. I like the squad, dude. I like the squad. And you've got, like I said, some impactful picks here to play around with. You also have 27 picks. So if you wanted to go all in, and not that you have to, you could really, you could really make some motion here. I probably would advise working with what you got because I think you have enough to compete, but it's certainly not like completely out of the question. Let's say mid-season, you find yourself and you're 5-3 and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm close, but I'm not quite there just yet. I think that could be a scenario where you could potentially go all in. All right, so we've got that 208 here. Just putting all your picks together on the back end, my friend. Okay, 208. Okay. So, shall we pull up the war room? Let's pull the war room up. And I want to make sure I've got you here. He says, yeah, I want off my 27 first, trying to decide what running back or tight end to trade for. Right. I don't think you have to trade for tight end with Theo there and Gadsden. I'd want to see what Gadsden becomes first, especially, with the whole new offense there. But okay. At the 101, obviously, if you stick and pick, you're going Jeremiah Love. Those late firsts, like I said, I mean, the 109 to the 201, they might be the same value, unfortunately, this year. You're going to be probably somewhere in this range of player, I imagine. The Sadiqs, Coleman's, Price, Johnson, Catrons, Omar Cooper. I guess you could probably add Elijah Surratt there. I just have him ranked higher than Omar. And then late seconds, I don't know, BPA. It's too early to say. Would I consider trading Jeremiah Love? I think you need Jeremiah Love, dude. I think you need him. He's that centerpiece the team is really missing. I would only trade Jeremiah Love if it means like a Gibbs or a Bijan or a Genty, if you get a plus on top of Genty or something. Otherwise, I think I'm holding. I really think he's what that team needs. The 109 to the 201, though, I wouldn't mind getting either a veteran running back or a veteran tight end, which I think is what you were suggesting there. He says, I'm a Notre Dame fan. Okay, there you go. If you're a Notre Dame fan, then yeah, I imagine you're probably going to be set there. And these late picks you can use in packages. Yeah. I guess like a name that instantly comes to mind for me is a Ken Walker here, and we'll talk about that. But that veteran presence, that gives you a little bit more boost in that running back room. Maybe that's Tucker Kraft range as well. that 109, that might be Tucker Craft range. In a lot of leagues it is. Is there any premium here? No premium. So yeah, I think that's definitely doable. That's probably, that would be my game plan for your rookie draft. But why don't we go ahead and actually look at the chalkboard here. Like we said, you have that 109, which we'll explore, and that 201, which we will explore. So let's have a geese. I think you got what you need to compete here, man. Okay. Let's attack running back, and then we'll attack tight end. We've got that 208 we can play around with as well. I'm just going to remind myself we've got that there. But the 109, I instantly think Tucker Craft. I wonder if the Tucker Craft owner has a tight end they already like. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. No, they don't. So that's going to be hard to acquire him. I don't really love anyone else in this range, dude. Like, you're not going to get a Loveland or a Warren for the 109. Like, it's almost silly for me to put Warren there. But maybe if you did the 109 and the 208, potentially. And then at the 201, you might as well just keep Gadsden and see what he can turn into. Do you know what I mean? Like, Gadsden already has plenty of potential. And every year, there are tight ends off the waiver wire that help people compete. This year it was like, what, Jawan Johnson, Hunter Henry. So I wouldn't be too pressed to figure that out. However, what I would love to do is find a running back. Like I said, Ken Walker is a great option there. Who has a ton of running backs? Christian McCaffrey, if you want to go all in there with Jeremiah Love as well. I mean, that really gives you a chance to go out there and really compete. Could you get James Cook if you added that 201 there? I mean, would you have to add your 208? I'm not really opposed if it gets the job done. It's another idea. Trying to find teams that are, you know, they have an excess of players. I wouldn't be completely opposed to like getting Derrick Henry for the 201 and the 201 in this class. You have to recognize the wheels will fall off any moment, so he's a tough guy to trade for, to be honest. Teams, again, with excess at running back. ETN. I think I could do ETN for the 201 and the 208. I think that could work. I'd love to get Cam. I wonder if you get Cam for maybe the 109 and the 208. Maybe that's range. Yeah, I think those are your main options, though. Chase Brown's probably doable. Probably this. Would he cost that much? You might be able to sneak that ETN price for Chase Brown, but these are some ideas. Honestly, I think I gave you one hell of a game plan here. Let me know what you think, though, if there's anything I didn't explore that you wanted me to explore. But I love where you are. Let's just hypothetically put those two, like the War Room and this, together. So hypothetically, if you end up getting Jeremiah Love at the 101, like we talked about, you'd be starting Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, the Superflex League. Is it a start 2 tight end league? It's start 2 tight ends. Okay. Then, you know what? At that 109, Sadiq is a legit option then. Sadiq is a legit option. Yeah, I can see why people will be stingy with those tight ends then. Yeah, let me look at that real fast. I just want to remind myself like where my tight end rankings are right now. That's probably the last thing I'll look at. Yeah, so what I would love for you to do is go buy Terrence Ferguson. Can you buy Terrence Ferguson for the 201? Maybe you get something third back in return. I'd love for you to go by Terrence Ferguson. Kyle Pitts could probably be a legit option at the 109 then. Maybe you do have to add the 208, but maybe you could get a third in return. Yeah. I kind of love this game plan though, man. Again, let's just say you went Jeremiah Love and Sadiq. Just hypothetically. You're starting May, Lawrence, Brees, Love, London, McMillan, Sadiq, Gadsden, Burden, Thomas. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then who knows if you can get any of these deals done instead. Tucker Kraft or Tyler Warren's probably not going to work, but maybe you can use those seconds to go and, you know, get the Fergusons that we talked about. But I like this a lot, man. Let me know if you got any other questions, but I think that's a really good game plan for you. Left Ball says, I ended up getting a Dunze in the 101 for Lamar. I thought it would be impossible, but someone took the bait. Thanks, bro. Getting a Dunze and the 101 for Lamar. Nice. It's a good haul. I love it. But Solid KGen, you should be getting your playbook here within the next 3 to 4 business days. I can promise you that. Next 3 to 4 business days. I'm going to go ahead and click complete, but I'm here. And, you know, I want to make sure and answer the questions if you've got any final questions there. Oh, baby, 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 you got what I need. Maybe Jake has left the building. Okay. We've got 4 more. I think I can do 2 more for the day, unless anyone gets the priority pass and I'll bump them up. But tomorrow, guys, I'll be streaming. I'll be doing quarterback rankings to begin and then straight into team review. So if you got a team review you want to get done, it's a great time to submit because tomorrow I'm going to be pumping through them. Jake says, I was thinking about pairing Golden and the 109 to upgrade to an Olave. I don't mind that. I just think Golden's a buy low, but if you can get Olave at that price, it's a no-brainer. I don't think wide receiver is really your issue, though. Do you know what I mean? I don't think wide receiver is really your issue. Where is the trade? You said you submitted a trade, Keith. I think I've completed all trades. I do remember your trade, Keith. Yeah, I just did that not too long ago. On the site, you should have a link to exactly where the time code is, though, because I did just complete that before the last review. I remember it. Okay, let's go to Food Baby here next. Again, I appreciate y'all being here with me, spending your evening. Let me know, Keith, you should see that message on the back end. Okay, Food Baby. This is an interesting one because Food Baby's a start 9, but it's a 16-teamer, which is crazy. Don't worry if you missed it, Keith, because the time code we give you on the back end, it'll take you to exactly when I answer the question. Jake says, thanks, bro. I do like the ideas you had. I'll try and get Walker. Of course, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for letting me have a look at the squad. I would say the 109 is probably a little too high on Walker, but use that 201. But a lot of options there that we gave. Okay, Food Baby. 16 team. It's going to be hard to find a lineup. It's a start 9. It's a big lineup for a 16-teamer. PPR, no tight end premium. And I don't believe we have any context, so we're just going to raw dog it. I got no problem raw dogging. Food Baby 6, that puts you at 7 out of 16. It's a big old league. We got a lot of picks in 2026. So we will obviously decide what we should do with those. But let's have a look at the squad. We have to start 9, remember? So we've got Brock Purdy. We've got Woody Marks. I guess Monongai's RB2. I don't even know if you have an RB2 between Woody and I think Woody might get replaced. Rice Wilson, Loveland. And you got to start 9. So you're flexing Kraft. Oh, man, I don't think this team is ready to compete. I really don't. I really don't. I like your draft capital. You got 2 firsts and 27. I think this is, if you try and compete this year, I just think you're going to be middle of the pack. I'll give you a draft capital grade of B+. Your overall team grade, I'm trying to take into a context that there's 16 teams. But this feels how, I don't want to be rude, but I think this feels like C- to me. And I definitely think you're a 1-year punt. There's just no way you're a serious contender here. Obviously, I'm taking into account that it's a big league, but there's just too many spots where I don't know who you're starting. And I don't love this class to figure that out. Okay. I think we got to punt. I think we got to look towards 2027. The good news is you got some picks to play around with, so we can certainly go to the war room and figure out a game plan. That 103 is going to be helpful. You've got the 204 to like the 214 range. And then you've also got that 310 to the 313 range. A lot of picks. I kind of wish you didn't have a lot of picks in this class, but we're not going to be upset about having draft picks. Okay. There is no untouchable on this team, by the way. There's none. As far as holds, I'd probably hold Monongai, Tesla, Kraft, and Helm. You could drop Greg Dortch. You can drop Daniel Bellinger. You can drop Jackson Halls and Jahan Dotson if you want to clear space. Your waiver wire is not that attractive. Maybe you go pick up Treylon Burks. I don't know. But it's not a very attractive waiver wire. So I think that's important to state. Cool. I think we're on the same page. Let's jump to your war room. Let's get a plan going here to point this thing in the right direction. At the 103, it's a 1 quarterback league. So thank God you have the 103 at least. To me, it's got to be one of the big 3 wide receivers. Again, that's Lemon, Tate, Tyson. And then the funny thing is, like, at the 204 in this league, it's 16 teams. So 13, 14, 15, 16. So the 201 is actually the 205 in a 12 team. So the 201 is a 205. And that means 5, 6, 7. This is actually like the 207 range. So it's impossible to know who's going to be available that late. But I don't love the depth of this class, so I don't think that's going to be a very transformational area for you. But I'll give you a general range of players that may be available around here. Your Claibornes, Daniels, Branch, Moss, Singletons, and beyond that, I have no idea what to tell you yet. It's way too early. Now, at the 103, if you want to trade down, I think the 104 is probably, not probably, for sure, I'm telling you right now with 100% certainty, do not trade further down than the 104. There's a huge tier break after that in this class in a 1 quarterback format. So, who's got the 104? $104 is Cheddar Walls. So, like, I would I would love to trade down one spot for like a Matthew Golden, for example. That's a real simple idea there that could work out great. You're going to buy low on Matthew Golden. You move back one spot. You still end up with one of the big 3 wide receivers. That's perfect in my mind. I also don't mind trading back for like the 108 or something. Yeah, I mean, what do you have? You have like the 310. So if you can't do that straight up, I don't mind adding like the 310 or one of those other late seconds in here. What else did you have? You had the 214, 212, one of those. You know, something simple. Honestly, dude, like, typically I would tell people, hey, the 4th round is going to be full of guys who are on the practice squad. Your 4th round is going to be full of people who are working at McDonald's. These picks are worth almost nothing. These 4th round picks in your league are late 3rds. Anyway. Sometimes I might be too honest. And then these guys you can use in packages. I don't think there's really another idea I have for that 104. Yeah, he's not going to give you Joe Burrow. Yeah. That would be my game plan for your rookie draft. I think it's a solid game plan, though. All right, let me catch up with the chat. I agree, left ball. Keith says, Zach, I was listening to your response for my trade question, but I think you got confused. I was trading away Travis Hunter to get Chase Brown, not the other way around. Okay, yeah, then I'm fine with it. If you're competing right now, Keith, then I'm fine with it. I apologize if I misread that, my dude. Let me know if you get that, if you hear me. Okay. That's a solid plan. But let's jump to the chalkboard here. And like I said, we're doing a 1-year punt. So let's jump to the chalkboard and let's come up with some more ideas here to get you in the right direction. Woody Marks, here's the funny thing, guys, to anyone who's still listening. Look, when a player, by anyone who covers content on any format, when a player is by every single person labeled a sell, breaking news, you're probably not going to be able to sell that player. It's just probably not going to be possible. But we'll look at what we can do. I wouldn't mind looking at what Michael Wilson's worth. Those are really your 2 names that I think you could move off of right now. Nobody else has enough value to justify a move. You certainly do not need any more picks in 2026, by the way. But I will take note that we have a 204 here to play around with. We have a 206, 212, 214. Okay. All right, so Woody Marks. I mean, ideally, can you trade him for... Yeah, you really need an early 2027 second, because an early 2027 second is actually a mid when we're thinking about a 12-team league, because you're in a 16-teamer. Who's a running back needy team? Okay, El Jefe is perfect. He definitely needs a running back. We'll give him Woody Marks. I mean, can you throw the kitchen at him? Can you throw him Woody Marks, the 204, the 206, the 212 for his 27 first? Probably not. What if you offered this plus Michael Wilson for his 27 first? And you could probably get something. You could probably get his first and... There's not much else there that's really interesting. Yeah, maybe that won't work. You want to maximize your players here. All right, who else needs running back? How about Team 5? They could definitely use a running back. They've got the 109, the 112. Again, can we kind of manipulate this a little bit where we send Woody Marks in the 204 for the 109 or something? It's probably going to be hard to pull it off. The 112, if you gave back the 212, hypothetically. Could you get Rashad White and the 112 and sell Rashad White later after free agency and send the 204 here? I might even add like the 214 or something. See what I mean when I say you can play around with these picks, though? That guy doesn't need running back. This guy, probably not a great fit. I would love to explore if I could turn Woody into like a Brian Thomas. So if we ended up going Marks plus the 204, 206, again, like, can you throw the kitchen sink at it and just build around Thomas rather than Marks? Depth is important in this league, so it might be attractive to some people. This guy could really use a running back, but I don't think the 113 is probably right there in range, actually. Yeah, I'd say that's right there in that range. What an interesting league. I wouldn't mind building around Jameson instead. So if you could do a Woody Marks plus, let's say like the 206 and 212 for Jameson Williams, it's worth trying. Again, we're just trying to get assets that are going to be a little bit more stable. I'd love to grab like a Caleb Johnson. Ooh. Like a Travis Hunter, Caleb Johnson. I wonder how we could work that out. Travis Hunter, Caleb Johnson. What about Marks plus Michael Wilson? Travis Hunter plus Caleb Johnson. Buying low on Caleb Johnson there. I kind of love that. You could also try Marks and the 204 and the 206 or 212. Yeah. Man, this is a lot of ideas. Yeah, I kind of like that. Do you like that? This guy doesn't have any young pieces we could build out a roster with. Don't mind a Benson, but I don't know. It's a little risky. Yeah, I think that's where we are. Those are some ideas, a lot of ideas actually. But I think that's a solid game plan this year. I hope between the War Room and the chalkboard, you got more than enough to get yourself going. And you will get your playbook here within the next 3 to 4 business days. So I appreciate you big time, Food Baby. Is Taquito still here? Is Taquito still in the chat? Let me know if you're here. I think I might call it there, and then I'm going to do the rest of these tomorrow, and then any that come through, I'll do them tomorrow as well. Unless, Taquito, you're not available tomorrow, let me know now, and I'll get this one out for you here on today's stream. Left Ball is asking about Tesla. I just don't know where the volume comes from, man. What are you thinking, Taquito? He says, if you could do it today. Okay, I'll do it today. Only thing is I got to pop a cough drop. Because my throat's killing me. That's why I can't really go much longer. My throat is about to give out. So, I apologize in advance. I'm grinding. But I got to put the cough drop in. I hope that's okay. Is that all right? Okay, let's get into it, Taquito. All right, we're on the same page. I always love when people are here when we do the reviews as well. It's so fun. Okay, so Taquito, we are in a start 10 Superflex. Start 10 Superflex, gonna look something like that. Took over orphan team right before 2025 draft, was awful with old players and no picks. Made some trades for picks that became Tet McMillan, Fannin, and Monongai. 2026 draft 101 holder has Fields and Deshaun as only quarterbacks. There's a chance he takes Mendoza first. Okay. That would be crazy. Wow, that would be crazy if Love was at the 102. Okay. So, Taquito, you're currently ranked 7 out of 12. Not a whole lot here on this roster, but we do have some draft capital to work with. I hate that 106, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I just hate that pick this year. It is just right outside glory. Maybe we can try and trade up. Because I just think you're right outside of a range that really matters. Then it just becomes a big, who the hell knows type of situation. But we can cook something up. I got some ideas already kind of churning through my brain. Okay. So let's have a look at the team. Again, Superflex start 10. Daniel Jones, Bryce Young. Not great. Not great. At running back, brother, I have no idea who you're starting at running back. Maybe Jeremiah Love. You mentioned you might land him there. But that's true, Daniel. But the 2025 class was very deep. The 26 class is not. So you're 100% right about last year, and we highlighted the depth of the class last year. That is not the case in 2026. Man, how are you putting together a lineup here, dude? I don't think you're competing this year. Jones, Young, Kyle Monongai, JCM, Tet, Waddle, Fannin. That makes 7. I'm not even comfortable with it. Then you have to start 3 more names. Alec Pierce, I guess. Whatever you do with your draft picks. I don't see this as a contender. I think you're definitely, you put it in the chat. That's exactly where I was going. I'm going to say 1-year punt. I wish you had all these picks in 27. I'll give you draft capital grade like a A-. And to be honest, your full team grade, it's not in a great spot, brother. It's not in a great spot. I'm going to be realistic with you and say C-. All right. Now, you should feel good about where you've taken it. Because if this was a orphan, I can't imagine what it used to look like. There are no untouchables on this team. Everybody is up for trade. The holds, I would say JCM, Bigsby, Pierce, and Horton are all definitely worth holding. Easy drops, Malik Davis if you want to, Taj Brooks if you want to. On the waiver wire, a couple names that are interesting like Jaden Blue and Jordan James, but it's not a very attractive waiver wire, so you probably aren't going to pick those guys up over the draft picks that you have to make. Okay. Let's jump into the war room. Let's try and make a difference with these picks that you've got. Now, we're under the same understanding here that you are not competing. All right. At the 102, this is either Fernando Mendoza. Well, you're saying it's maybe Jeremiah Love. Let me just be very clear here. If Jeremiah Love is available, you're drafting Jeremiah Love. If not, it's Mendoza or I'll just say the B3, which is the big three receivers, Lemon, Tyson, Tate, as you've probably heard all day today. At the 106, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. The reason I hate the 106 is because it's just a huge range of guys that you could draft, right? Just a massive, yeah, this could work. Yeah, maybe. And a lot of these guys, I don't know. It's not very strong this year. Yeah, maybe Sadiq will work. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Denzel Boston will work here. I hate it. The 108 is basically the same, by the way. So let me say the 106 to the 108. From a value perspective as well, people are not going to value the 106. Like, I would go out on a limb and say, if you're expecting to trade down from the 106 to the 108 and get any value in this class, I think you have the wrong expectations about how people value it. Again, I think honesty is important. Beyond the 202, let's just go BPA. You know, if you're a member on the site, you'll have access to my rankings. You'll know exactly who the best player available is, in my opinion. Now, we need to have a conversation, because I'm not going to write this on the War Room, but I am going to explore the idea, if you actually land Jeremiah Love at the 102, in a second, we're going to explore the idea of trading that for a haul, because this team is nowhere near ready. Okay, so we'll explore that in a second. But assuming you have the 102, really what's going to be helpful is to look at, like, these are really not, you're not really going to trade down from these. You know, I will say, like, if you can trade any of the 106 to the 108 for, like, you know, a 27 mid first, then I would be totally open to doing that, especially with the fact that you're punting. And if you can use any of these in, you know, use in packages, if it makes deals go over the line, then I'm not opposed to it. What I think we really need to explore here is trading the 102 and tearing down. I want to see what's possible with the 102. So I'm going to give us a big runway here. I'm comfortable tearing down from the 102 to the 103, 104, 105. That's it. That guarantees you one of Mendoza, Tyson, Tate, Tyson, Lemon. Okay? So if someone has a big preference and you can take advantage of that, awesome. I have another idea. Okay. I'm kind of working through it as I go. The guy with the 101 doesn't have his 27 first. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So let's see who has the 103. Okay, the 104 is here. So if we can get the 104 plus, like, it's not going to sound that enticing to you. And let me be very clear. If you find out that Jeremiah Love is available at the 102, you do not make any of these moves, because he will be worth more than what I'm telling you right now the 102 is worth. We're on the same page, right? This is assuming Jeremiah Love's not available. But, like, if you get, like, a Jordan Addison, I have no problem tearing down. I'd probably do that for Gadsden as well. Yeah, those are the two that make sense. I'll say or Gadsden. Just going to try and fit this on one. Okay, there we go. Okay. That's the only thing that makes sense to me there. I don't think you're going to get a future first to do a tier down here. The 105. I like the idea of like a 105 plus a Terrence Ferguson. Maybe you could even add like the 205 on there. And then you could send back like your 302. I think that could work. Outside of that, I don't think I don't think anything else really makes a ton of sense there. The 103. Okay, the 103. Man, he doesn't have anything attractive at all, does he? It'd have to be like... It'd have to be the 111. Nothing else would make sense. And then you could send him your 302 or something. Like, that's not ideal. I don't think that's going to work for you guys, but that's what makes the most sense. Okay, last thing I want to explore here is if you were to try and actually tier up. So let's say you gave the 106 and the 202. The 106 and the 202. Can that get you to the 105? Right? Can that get you to the 104? That's kind of where my mind went there. You know, if you need to add the 302 on top of that, I'm actually all aboard that as well. But that's where my mind went. Because we can do the opposite and tier right into that tier. And again, like I said, if you find out Love is at the 102, so maybe you don't do these trades before the draft, there's not a chance you're trading them this cheap. All right, that would be a huge mistake. So you really need that intel. Okay. I think that's a great war room for you. What I want to do next is really explore this idea where if Jeremiah Love is at the 102, what could we expect in return? At minimum, you are asking for 3 future first rounders. And they need to be early to mid, not mid to late. Okay? But you could also do that in a different way. So, again, Jeremiah Love with your team could really be the spark that helps you put this thing on track because you're so far away from competing. But let's just say hypothetically, you know, what's a team that would make sense? Like, it's like they're missing piece here. Okay, this guy could make a lot of sense. So in this world, this is actually great. So you get Luther Burden, and then you come back and ask for, you know, 2 future firsts. That's like at minimum what you're getting back. You could also do that for Roma Dunze, and that actually works out well. Like you said, if Love actually ends up going at the 102, you could do this for Burden or Dunze, and it would make a ton of sense because it's the missing piece for this guy, and you get one of these young receivers that you can build around. I'd love to tell you to get like Drake London. I just don't think that's realistic. But let me just say, like, Drake London plus a 27 first would also do the job here. Because you're in a place where you really need to have as many assets next year to you know, kind of have some flexibility. I don't know. I could be underselling Jeremiah Love here. This is just a generalized idea if best case scenario happens, right? This could work as well. This could be perfect. So Jeremiah Love for the 104 plus a Mecca Egbuka. So that ends up being what, like a Tate, Tyson, Lemon, and Egbuka combo. I kind of love that. I wonder if you could sneak in like a future second. I don't know. Second's not going to make a huge difference, but what if you did a Waddle for McConkey swap as well? That would be ultimate there. That would make a ton of sense in my mind. But you get where I'm going here? Okay, that's the hypothetical world. Maybe those packages are even bigger. But again, as we're punting, you have to ask yourself, what are the assets that I can sell right now? Daniel Jones would have been one of those assets, but coming off the Achilles tear, that's just not going to happen. Jalen Waddle is really the only name that makes sense. Ideally, you're looking for a 2027 first. You know, I would say mid. But we could also get creative with it. For example, the guy who has Luther Burden. We talked about him earlier. Well, he also has Roma Dunze. So does he have an interest in splitting those? I know a lot of people want to split those guys up. That'd be awesome. Whether that was Burden or Roma Dunze, I'd be happy with. You honestly don't have to move Waddle. He might be a better person to move in season. But that's kind of where I would be going here. Let me see if there's anything else that makes sense. Feel free to ask me some questions. Again, with your war room and your chalkboard, I feel like we really set you up well here. Ooh, I would love like a Matthew Golden 105. That's probably too much. What were the other picks that you had? You have the 108. Oh, this is interesting. You have the 202. Like a Waddle plus a 202 for a Golden and a 105. I think that's not far off. Maybe you have to add the 206 here. Again, hypothetically as an idea, I like that as well, but that is so many ideas. I hope that's helpful. Like I said, between the war room and the chalkboard, you're going to have a lot to work with, but let me know if there's any final questions that you got there, my friend. Mason is here. He says, after seeing the Mendoza Uzi edits, I have to put him 101. Those are pretty funny. I'm not going to lie to you. Pretty, white boy got motion, don't he? White boy got motion. Yeah, we had the conversation today in the rookie draft about, is Mendoza the 102? Tiki says, this guy, the 101, has made terrible decisions all year. He got Fields from me and gave me Bryce Young. Tons of help. All right, I'm glad to hear that. You should get your playbook within the next 3 to 4 business days. To all my other people, I'm sorry I can't keep going. My throat is about to give out. But like I said, join me tomorrow. I'm going to be live streaming. And like I said earlier, full transparency, some of you guys asked me, like, why don't you do tight end and quarterback rankings anymore as a video? Because it tanks. It gets no views. Okay? Like, you want my, like, honest, transparent answer? I don't do them because it gets absolutely 0 viewership. So tomorrow, I'm going to do it as a stream. I'm going to give you my quarterback rankings, and then we'll jump into these playbooks to end my week, to end the week of streaming. So it's a great time to get your playbooks in. And last thing I want to say for Swift, because I want to give him the best review tomorrow. Swift, what I need you to do, my friend, and make sure you submit this before we go live tomorrow. That way I can do it before the week ends. But I'm going to go ahead and hit complete as if I've finished this. But I'm going to give you a free team review voucher. The reason I'm doing this is because you haven't updated your sleeper ID yet. What you need to do is you need to go to the My Teams feature. You need to remove your old ID and you need to add a new one, because when you turn over a new year and you renew a sleeper league, it gives you a new ID, and that's what allows us to see your 2026 picks. Right now, all we can see is that it's a 2026 third or a 2026 first. We can't see, you know, any information on where those picks actually are. So give me an updated, sleeper ID in the My Teams feature, then submit that team again, and I'd be happy to hit you up tomorrow with that review. Anyway, guys, long stream today. I appreciate you guys. I was not prepared for these streams, these type of streams again. I mean, how long was that? I'm exhausted. It's been a minute. It's been just over 3 hours. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Join me then, and nothing but love.